This is the Triblive High School Sports Network, the official streaming partner of the WPIAL, featuring exclusive coverage of all playoffs and championships. Stretching across 10 counties, 2,000 broadcasts a year, live and forever archived. Trib, hssn.triblive.com.
The high school football tradition in Beaver County lives right here on Beaver County Radio.
It is complete to John Lucas at the 30, 20, 10, 5, touchdown!
Snap is good. It is down. The kick is up and good.
He's got room. 10-5 touchdown! You better believe it.
Today's game coverage is being brought to you by Dr. C. Timothy Lipp, Beaver County Career Technology Center, the Community College of Beaver County, Electric Garage Door Sales, Falcone's Moon Township Ford, the Beaver Falls Municipal Authority, Friendly Federal Credit Union, Heritage Valley Health System, Fry Transportation, Medic Rescue, Keystone Wellness Programs, Drug Free Aliquippa, the law firm of Luxembourg, Garbutt, Kelly, and George, and the Lockwood Insurance Agency, among others. Now get ready because we're about to get kicking off on Beaver County Radio, Facebook Live, and the Triblive High School Sports Network.
Know if your team won or lost right away with a visit to the webpage scoreboard at beavercountyradio.com. As soon as the games are over, Beaver County Radio will have all the up-to-date high school football scores posted, along with game recap stories and action photos. It's Beaver County's #1 online source for high school football scores and more. The webpage scoreboard is being brought to you by Mr. Trophy, Lachlan Insurance Agency, Friendly Federal Credit Union, Beaver County Auto Group, Dr. C. Timothy Lipp, the Beaver Falls Municipal Authority, and Beaver County Radio. Click beavercountyradio.com.
Gorgeous night for football. Week 1, even though it's the second week of the year, this is officially week 1 of the high school football season, and you couldn't ask for better weather. Much colder temperatures than a week ago when we started our 74th season. And we got a dandy up here on College Hill at Reeves Stadium tonight. Two longtime rivals, the Aliquippa Quips and the Beaver Falls Fighting Tigers. For quite a while, they were in the same conference, but not anymore. Aliquippa, amazingly, went to the WPIL championship game last year in 4A, even though their enrollment says that they're a 1A school. They took Thomas Jefferson to overtime, and then the Jaguars went on to win the state championship. On the other side, Beaver Falls playing in 2A last year. They won the WPIL title, then lost a heartbreaker 20-18 right here at Reeves in the State West Final against Wilmington. Two teams tonight. This is Aliquippa's first game. Beaver Falls coming off a loss last week against Blackhawk on WBVP. First half was all Cougars. Second half, Beaver Falls inched back into the game, but Blackhawk ultimately won 31-20. And our Beaver County Career and Technology Center pregame show is underway. With me again tonight, Bruce Fry. I'm by Barrickman. Well, Bruce, we don't have a Hall of Famer to bring on at the half, but we'll have some good players. And there's some good people up in the booth tonight, and I think we're going to have a good one. Aliquippa and the Fighting Tigers.
No doubt. Bob, the bottom line is it was the 3rd of September. That's a day I'll always remember.
Oh, I knew you'd get that in
I
there.
know. I might as well. I figured I'd do it now instead of during the Falcone's Moon Township wrap-up show. So it's all good. But it truly is. It's a day we'll always remember. Bob, if you could computer generate a weather forecast for right now, you couldn't sit there at a computer and come up with anything better than this.
No, this is just spectacular weather all throughout the area. And they got a good one on WNBA with Micah Zadie and Jason Colangelo. New Brighton and Rochester will kick off at 7. This game tonight with expanded media here in Tiger Town, we're going to look at a 7:06 kickoff. So we'll have a little expanded pregame show, always brought to you by Beaver County Career and Technology Center. Well, Bruce, Aliquippa, Beaver Falls, you talk about history. Aliquippa, who has more history than the Quips? A record 16 WPIL titles. They've won 3 state championships.
How about 13 straight trips to Heinz Field or wherever the game was played? North Allegheny or wherever it may be. That's the bottom line.
I was saving the most glory for you. I'm glad you picked up on that.
Oh, wow. Yeah, no question. Well, it is. And again, you've already covered the matter very carefully in that Beaver Falls is the larger school than Aliquippa, yet Aliquippa's 4A and Beaver Falls is 2A.
Yeah.
So hats off to the Quips before they even hike the football.
Well, Mike Warfield, now in his 4th year as the coach, his first season, they won the state championship, and that was in 2A, I believe, when they won the state title over.
Wyomissing.
No, that was Central Valley beat
I'm
Wyomissing.
sorry. Yeah, that's
Middletown.
Middletown,
Okay.
right. Gomez was our man. Yeah,
Middletown.
That was the one that was only 8 miles away from Hershey.
Right.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
But Aliquippa did win the state title, but then in the last couple of years, they have this complicated competitive formula where if you have so many transfers and you win a lot of playoff games, they bump you up. Well, Aliquippa got bumped up to 4A last year, and they take Thomas Jefferson to overtime, and the Jaguars ended up winning back-to-back states.
Yeah, it's essentially the same formula that I believe moved Lincoln Park up an enrollment class in boys basketball.
Right, exactly, yeah. But that's the way it is, and Beaver Falls dropping down to 2A last year because their enrollment said they could do that. And what a year under Nick Nardone. He was the defensive coordinator for the state champions in 2016. Last year, they win the WPIL sort of in a breeze. They weren't really severely tested, and then they had that heartbreaker right here against Wilmington, losing 20-18. But phenomenal year. But for Beaver Falls, though, they lost a couple key players from that club. Josh Huff, the running back, now at Syracuse, and his sidekick in the backfield, Shalik Livingston, was a big loss.
Right, but as Coach Nardone has pointed out, it certainly is a devastating. The class of 2021, to lose them is devastating. But in terms of quality, but numerically there were only 5 of them.
Yeah, right.
So the cupboard is not bare, as we like to say.
On the other side, though, Aliquippa and the Quips got a line. Their offensive and defensive lines, I mean, they're big time. They got not only size, they got strength, they got quickness, they got speed, they have it all. Now, their skill positions, they took a little bit of a hit, a couple of hits over the spring and summer. One, Jabari Cleckley, who they were looking at to be the quarterback this year, but he moved to Atlanta in the summer. So that left a void in the Aliquippa arsenal. And the really unsettling situation, one of their best players last year, a wideout, Antonio Anderson, who was getting some good looks at the collegiate level, and he was shot in the back in May. So
3 days before the state meet, after they were getting ready to compete, I believe that he was leg 2 of the 4x100.
So those are huge losses for Mike Warfield, which, again, they have to compete in 4A, and to lose a couple players of that caliber is tough. But they move on. Aliquippa doesn't make excuses. They just face the opponent and move forward, and they've done that pretty well over the years. We're going to take our first time out. We want to thank Curtis Walsh, who's manning the controls here on Facebook Live and Beaver County Radio, WBVP and the new 99.3 FM. Gavin Reese here on board. Rick Plasmeyer working the camera. So we got, I don't know if you'd call us the Fab Five, but there are 5 of us up here in the booth. We're going to take this time out. We'll be back with more. And the guy in the studio, let's make it a Supreme 6. Malik Garrett, our producer, and he'll be looking at the scoreboard, brought to you by Fry Transportation. We'll take this 2-minute time out. We'll return to College Hill after this on Beaver County Radio and Triblive Sports.
In sports broadcasts, the pregame show will set the stage for the upcoming game coverage. In life, a pre-career start at the Beaver County Career and Technology Center can set your high school student for life. This is Laura Delvecchio, the Assistant Administrative Director at the Beaver County Career and Technology Center, with more great news. There is still availability for this school year in some of our top-earning career training programs like masonry, machine tool technology, collision repair, and greenhouse and landscaping. But you must act now. Have your child or grandchild see their school counselor today. Hurry! Classroom space is limited, and these prime opportunities are on a first-come, first-served basis. Let the Beaver County CTC open doors for you in the game of life. Click bcctc.org.
Listening to live sports on the radio in Beaver County is a tradition. This is Craig Fontana from Moon Township Ford, and I ought to know. My dad, Bill Fontana, has called games for over 50 years. Beaver County people know a good call when they hear one, and the best call you can make is to buy your next new or used vehicle at Moon Township Ford. Click moontownshipford.net or visit Moon Township Ford on University Boulevard.
Falcone's Moon Township Ford, where friends send friends.
There's something for everybody this semester at CCBC. Whether you're leveling up a career or launching a new life, CCBC has got you covered. In fact, CCBC is straight to you. Your local library is now a CCBC classroom. Build career skills and earn college credit right in your backyard. Check out credit and non-credit classes starting in the near future. Click ccbc.edu/fall for more information. Right place, right time. CCBC is right where you need them this fall.
In order to call the right play, you have to be able to communicate. Dental hygiene not only affects appearance and eating habits, it can also have an impact on your ability to speak clearly. Dr. C. Timothy Lip wants you to keep your teeth in the game, and he has a playbook designed for success so that you can call the right play or even call an audible. Get suited up for a win, or at least a winning smile, by joining Dr. C. Timothy Lip's team in Beaver Falls or Robinson Township. Visit lipdentistry.com.
Being part of a credit union is like being part of a team. This is Cindy Haladio from Friendly Federal Credit Union. Last year, we loaned out over $8 million to our members for all sorts of reasons. Friendly Federal Credit Union enables local people to do things by working together like a team. Visit Friendly Federal Credit Union in Baden or Aliquippa. Member NCUA Equal Housing Lender.
Friendly Federal Credit Union. You got a friend.
Our Beaver County Career and Technology Center pregame show continues. It's Aliquippa and Beaver Falls. Huge rivalry, but oddly enough, since Beaver Falls beat Aliquippa in the 2016 WPIL Championship game, Aliquippa has dominated the last 3 times these schools have played. Let's see, the Quips have won by scores of 36-0, 39-0, and 40-0, and they didn't play last year because the COVID took out the first 3 games of the season. So here we are. I mean, it's still a rivalry. Be it a non-conference game, we're kind of used to them being the deciding game in the conference, but we talked about that enough.
Right. Please don't tell anybody dressed in orange or dressed in red.
No.
This is a non-conference game.
No.
I don't think they want to hear it.
No. This is an interesting matchup, though, because Mike Warfield, he'll say, hey, this is our first game. Beaver Falls already has one under its belt. And remember in the spring, Geneva had that same excuse. They were playing their first game in late March, and Westminster had come off a game, and the results showed. In fact, by the way, we have the Golden Tornadoes, their first fall football game. Excuse that it's still September, but it's the first game on the right side of the calendar in 2 years for Geneva, 5:30 airtime at Wooster, Ohio. Jason Colangelo and me with the call. Bruce, Aliquippa, its first game, and this will be an interesting game because you don't have an Antonio Anderson, you don't have Jabari Cleckley, and it's basically piecemeal trying to find out how good their offense is going to be. I'm sure they'll figure it out, but this is the first game, and it's going to be a challenge for Mike Warfield and the Quips.
Yeah, I don't think Mike, he's not the kind of guy to make excuses. He's just the one, he wants to, I think what any coach, Mike Warfield or anyone, is just concerned about in the first game is procedure penalties and jumping off sides and encroachment and things of that nature. That's what you got to work, the teamwork and in the structure within. That's what the coach wants to see in the first game.
All right, let's look at some of the other games going on tonight, and a couple that were supposed to go on tonight and were taken off the calendar. And, of course, New Brighton at Rochester on WMBA with Jason Colangelo and Mike Azadian. Bruce, New Brighton won in overtime last week, 27-20, and what a heck of a game that was that we witnessed.
3 hours and 8 minutes. Both teams played valiantly, and Bob, one of the rare times that we see officials, and again, we agree it was a good piece of officiating, but they called for water breaks in each of the 4 quarters.
Yeah, I mean, it was just ungodly hot weather, and playing an afternoon game on top of that only made things more difficult. But Rochester expected to be a powerhouse in 1A. Its first game of the year. Gene Matzuk begins his 22nd year at the helm. Non-conference action. Blackhawk at Central Valley. Wasn't supposed to happen. And I was talking to our former broadcast partner, Tom Hayes, who's going to be doing the play-by-play for the video streaming for Central Valley home games. At first, it was just going to be like a glorified scrimmage, but now it's going to be a regular game. It does count in your overall record. He tells me that they want to try to get as many kids on the field as possible, meaning second-line players. But this game does count at Sarge Albert Stadium, and that's Blackhawk and Central Valley trying to make do after the couple cancellations.
These are all COVID-related episodes, Bob. But the one I think of, one that happened a year ago, a little bit north of us, is Erie McDowell and Erie Cathedral played twice last year also because of lack of schedule due to COVID. So those things can actually happen.
Well, Tom told me that in the plan is that they might look for alternate opponents, but how do you do that in week 4?
How about, is Bishop Sycamore open that week?
I've heard enough about that school lately. Let's move on. North Catholic at Ambridge, first home game for our first Coach's Corner guest of the season, Sherman McBride. And it's a tough one. North Catholic paced at Hopewell last week, 62-0.
No question about it. North Catholic is loaded. They are a team to reckon with in 3A.
Jimbo Covert, I don't believe, is at the stadium tonight, now called Jimbo Covert at Jimbo Covert Field at Bulldog Stadium, hosting Western Beaver. Both teams coming off tough losses last year. Our Lady of the Sacred Heart should contend in 1A. They're at Riverside tonight. Neshannock visits Southside, which starts off 1-0. We had that one on WMBA last Friday. Elwood City at Union. Montour at Moon. Quaker Valley visits Newcastle. Mohawk at Cornell. West Allegheny at Trinity. And the 2 games that got postponed. Beaver at Central Valley. COVID-related. Beaver has a few cases, so that game taken off the board. Central Valley was able to find a partner in Blackhawk. Hopewell at Blackhawk was postponed due to some COVID cases and a number of injuries to the Vikings, so that game was wiped out. Hopewell or Blackhawk found Central Valley, so Beaver and Hopewell not in action this week.
But
Bruce.
Do they get charged with losses?
No, I don't believe so. They, I read the article, and the WPIL said they're not going to call them losses. They said they can reschedule them if they want. But no, actually, because they're non-conference games, they won't be rescheduled. So Beaver and Hopewell will, in all likelihood, end up with 9 games in the regular season. One final score, Cubs 6, Pirates 5. And again, we have Geneva tomorrow at Worcester. We'll take this time out for Beaver County Career and Technology Center. And we're about less than 20 minutes away from kickoff. They're looking at 7:06 on a gorgeous night on top of the hill in Beaver Falls. We'll be back after this on Beaver County Radio and Triblive Sports. Hi, this is Bob Barrickman here for Fry Transportation. When it comes to school buses in Beaver County, it sure is hard not to notice the shiny Fry Transportation fleet. Fry Transportation has been a local family-owned Beaver County business for over 30 years. As any successful football team must be dependable and reliable, these same qualities have made Fry Transportation a champion operation. Best wishes to all local teams and safe travels to the gridirons this season. From your friends at Fry Transportation.
How can I help my child to make positive choices?
Start with a conversation. Start making the difference.
Beaver County Parents, is your child between the ages of 10 and 14? If so, Keystone Wellness Programs is offering the Strengthening Families program in your area. This free program is designed for families to have fun together while learning ways to promote family bonding and communications. For more information about upcoming sessions near you, visit KeystoneWellnessPrograms.org. Paid for with PA taxpayer dollars.
The law firm of Luxembourg, Garbett, Kelly, and George, keeping promises for over 80 years. Attorney Chuck Garbett.
What we tell them, number one, they cannot guarantee the result. All we can guarantee is the effort and an honest evaluation. Not every case goes to court. Most of them settle. There's a reason most of our cases settle out of court, and that's because over the years, the insurance companies have realized that when we're involved in a case, we do prepare that case as if it will go to trial, and we aren't afraid to take a case to trial. The insurance company keeps a book on the lawyers. There's a lot of lawyers out there that yell and scream and they pound their chest and we're going to do this and we're going to do that. But they haven't seen an inside of a courtroom maybe in 30 to 40 years. And the insurance industry knows that. Well, with us, it's a little different.
For your free consultation from the law firm of Luxembourg, Garbett, Kelly, and George, call 724-658-8535 or visit them online at lgkg.com.
When it comes to an emergency, seconds can make a difference between life and death. Medic Rescue has been serving the citizens of Beaver County by providing the best ambulance service. Medic Rescue has been Beaver County's #1 provider of emergency medical care and transport services for over 40 years. Their trained paramedics and emergency medical technicians are knowledgeable, experienced, and can evaluate emergencies quickly and accurately so that you get the life-saving care you need. Don't just ask for an ambulance, ask for Medic Rescue.
Navigating healthcare should be easy. Heritage Valley Medical Neighborhoods offer the care you need most in one convenient location. Access walk-in clinics, primary care, lab, diagnostic imaging, and other services at one of Heritage Valley's 7 medical neighborhoods. There's no need to travel far for quality healthcare. Find a medical neighborhood near you at heritagevalley.org. Heritage Valley and you, uniquely connected for life.
Know if your team won or lost right away with a visit to the webpage scoreboard at beavercountyradio.com. As soon as the games are over, Beaver County Radio will have all the up-to-date high school football scores posted, along with game recap stories and action photos. It's Beaver County's #1 online source for high school football scores and more. The webpage scoreboard is being brought to you by Mr. Trophy, Lockland Insurance Agency, Friendly Federal Credit Union, Beaver County Auto Group, Dr. C. Timothy Lip, the Beaver Falls Municipal Authority, and Beaver County Radio. Click beavercountyradio.com.
And returning here to College Hill, the Beaver Falls Marching Band coming out to entertain this good crowd here on this gorgeous night for football. Well, Beaver Falls, it's not like the cupboard's bare, Bruce. They still have the quarterback returning, now just a junior, in Jaron Brickner. And a guy
left-hander, if you will.
Yeah, and a guy who I think is really going to show some numbers. Last week we saw a glimpse of that, or at least Mike and Eddie did on the WBVP game. Trey Singleton, he kind of sat under the radar as a sophomore last year because they had the big weapons in Josh Huff and Shalik Livingston along with Brickner. But Trey Singleton is a guy you have to respect if you're Aliquippa, and Quadir Thomas is another guy who can make things happen as a wideout. Now, as running back, you're going to see more of Singleton carrying the ball, and Brickner, of course, can run the option. So they got weapons, and I would say that their best days lie ahead for this team that was pretty young, as you noted last year.
But the question is how many passes will they be able to complete against the Aliquippa secondary, which typically has speed. Bob, if you recall, there was an episode last April. You and I attended a track meet at Hopewell High School. Aliquippa had no less. They had 9 dudes break 12 seconds for the 100. So and they all play football. Do you believe that there's a shortage of speed at Aliquippa?
No. And that's even with a couple guys they don't have for various reasons. We're going to take this quick time out. We'll be back after this minute break on Beaver County Radio.
How can I help my child to make positive choices?
Start with a conversation. Start making the difference.
Beaver County Parents, is your child between the ages of 10 and 14? If so, Keystone Wellness Programs is offering the Strengthening Families program in your area. This free program is designed for families to have fun together while learning ways to promote family bonding and communications. For more information about upcoming sessions near you, visit KeystoneWellnessPrograms.org, paid for with PA taxpayer dollars.
When you're a superhero, you got big responsibilities. This is the Aquaman of Beaver County, Jim Riggio from the Beaver Falls Municipal Authority. The Aquamen and Aquawomen of the Beaver Falls Municipal Authority really do look after the needs of the community, just like real superheroes. The service we provide really is super, and the dedication of our workers can only be described as heroic. We just don't always wear spandex suits and capes. This is the Aquaman of Beaver County, and I'll keep the water on for you. Click bfwater.net.
And returning to Reeves, and we're about 10 minutes away from kickoff. No, there's nothing wrong with your clock, because with the expanded media on site tonight between these two longtime rivals, this game expected to start at 7:06. It's Aliquippa, 16 WPIL titles, their first one in 1952 under Carl A. Ashman, and Mike Warfield won the school's 16th title in his first season of 2018. And if it wasn't for some late game misfortune, he could have 3 WPIL titles in as many seasons.
Yeah.
They took Central Valley down to the wire and TJ into overtime last year.
Yeah, and again, to Mike Warfield's credit, he's not one to look back at what might have been. He's more focused on the present and the future, but certainly some tough breaks. Bob, we saw that last weekend. That high school overtime's a crazy situation, you know. It's
yeah, you know what? We were both talking to Charlie Leeper, who evaluates officials, and that New Brighton Western Beaver game last week that went to overtime, New Brighton won, and then it seemed like the game was over, and maybe it should have been, but about 5 minutes later, they kicked the extra point. And my way of thinking is well, if it was a conference game, maybe the point would have been necessary, because tiebreaker points could come into play if you win by 6 or you win by 7. Now, this is a non-conference game, so Gardner points don't figure in. But I don't know if maybe they separate the two.
I still don't get it, because I always thought by definition when I believe it was Williams of New Brighton crossed the goal line, the game is over. You shake hands, you go to the locker room, and you get on the bus.
Yeah.
The game's over.
Well, it is, but then we've been known to see games that are quote-unquote over, and the point is still kicked. In the regular season game in the NFL, if somebody would tie the game, well, then it would go to overtime. But you know, it's
I can't
awkward.
compare it to the NFL, but
yeah.
But the bottom line is, whatever. I mean, it happened, and we'll just keep trying to learn, keep trying to see if there's been rule changes or this or that. I was just surprised. I thought the game was over when Williams found the end zone.
Yeah, and you might be right, Bruce. It seems to be a gray area, or they would have done it right away. So it seemed like, well, should we kick the extra point? I think everybody's still learning. It's not something you see that often, but I would imagine, though, if it was a conference game, they're going to say, hey, New Brighton might need that extra point. but it wasn't a situation where
it wasn't
mattered.
A conference game.
Yeah, but I don't know if they separate the two or if they just automatically kick. Nonetheless, that game's in the book. New Brighton won by 7 last Saturday on Beaver County Radio. And tonight, Aliquippa, Beaver Falls. Who knows? Maybe we'll have another dilly. We hope to. That's why we're here. And New Brighton and Rochester, the Lions will try to make it 2-0 on WMBA with Mike Azadi and Jason Colangelo. And we're minutes away from the kickoff here on WBVP and 99.3 FM presented by St. Barnabas. And Malik Garrett back at the studio. He'll be given the Fry Transportation Instant Updates. And then, of course, the Falcones Moon Township Ford wrap-up show. And, Bruce, I guess you and Malik are going to man the phone lines.
Yeah, we'll do our best, but still not such a big week for the standings, Very few and far between.
Well, it won't be for a while if
Right.
you're like an Aliquippa that only has a 16 conference. Now, New Brighton, I should say Beaver Falls. Now, next week, they're out of the conference, but I think that's just because they're the odd man out. Next week, for example, New Brighton and Southside is no, you know what? That's not even. That's not a conference game either.
It's Three Rivers versus Mac. Yeah.
All right, you're right. So it's a different world we live in.
Yeah, I agree. We really do. We got to keep our sections separated and try to keep figuring things out. But Bob, even looking at tonight's schedule, Montour and Moon is not a section game. Western Beaver and Freedom's not a section game. North Catholic at Ambridge, that's not a section game.
Well, Bruce, let me stop you in mid-sentence if you don't mind.
Yeah.
There's no
section
conference game in the WPIL tonight.
Right, yeah. That's true. That's the abbreviated direct version.
So
we're not. I guess what I'm trying to say is we're not going over the standings tonight.
No.
Here, I'll do them right now. I'll list every team 0-0.
Oh, very good.
I'm done. I just did the standings.
Bruce,
I can save it tonight.
You can go back to the studio if you want.
I'll think about it.
Okay, thank you. All right, the Beaver Falls cheerleaders ready to welcome their heroes, and Aliquippa getting ready to take the field, and they're getting a lukewarm welcome. People dressed in black and red or cheering the Quips, but on the other side, orange and black says, this is our field, and you're not going to take it away from us.
Right.
We'll find out.
Bob, I'm concerned. Mark Walker's on the 44-yard line. I expect to see him at the 50 every single. I'm not sure what's going on here.
Oh, he must not have paid the freight.
He's
this
beautiful.
year.
We're glad to have him on board. He is one of the Clips' most staunch supporters, no doubt.
That is true. And so the Quips are on their far sideline, and Aliquippa and Beaver Falls, which was supposed to open their season last year, and it was scratched because of the COVID pandemic. So it's been a couple years since these two teams have engaged, and now Beaver Falls will be getting ready to come out there in the end zone. Or this is Aliquippa that's getting ready to come.
Beaver Falls is in the end zone, ready to run through their band.
Okay. You know what? This is... Bruce, I'm getting confused. I know it's only week 1, if you don't mind. But Beaver Falls is wearing their white home uniforms.
They're carrying the flag that says Tigers. Here comes BF. It doesn't look like the biggest squad size when you just look at numbers, but we have to remember it's a 2A school. But here come the Tigers. They're out there. Tyler Kane does the honors for smashing that barrier out there. And BF has taken the field.
Well, Bruce, in a sense, it looks like when I first looked at them, you could almost say, hey, those are Aliquippa numbers and colors, but they're not, though.
Right. Bob, the tricky part is identifying the Aliquippa numbers, which are red and white on a black jersey. And again, unfortunately, we reference Antonio Sonny Anderson. He wore number 8, and Syer Clark wore number 6. They were difficult to tell them apart.
We're going to take this final timeout. Kickoff coming up in a minute on Beaver County Radio and Triblive Sports.
I just love my Tyler Mountain Waterman.
That's something I hear all the time. This is Stefan Sasek from Tri-State Waters. I'm the guy that is out and about delivering that Tyler Mountain 100% natural spring water. I'm everywhere from New Brighton to Old Economy. Tri-State Waters delivers, and I'm the one driving the truck. From Beaver to Raccoon Township, I'm the waterman they love and the waterman that delivers. We even go to Poland, well, Ohio that is. If you need home or office delivery, call today and ask for Stefan, 724-774-4644.
There's something for everybody this semester at CCBC. Whether you're leveling up a career or launching a new life, CCBC has got you covered. In fact, CCBC is straight to you. Your local library is now a CCBC classroom. Build career skills and earn college credit right in your backyard. Check out credit and non-credit classes starting in the near future. Click ccbc.edu/fall for more information. Right place, right time. CCBC is right where you need them this fall.
Well, the co-captains are on the field getting ready for the coin toss, and there's an emotional thing going down for Aliquippa. Bruce, I'll let you explain.
Well, it does look like that Sonny Anderson is out on the field. It looks like he has a number 8 sweatshirt on. That's his game jersey as they head for the coin toss. And he's escorted by Sire Clark as the one captain. And again, for Aliquippa, obviously it's got to be an emotional time having one of their leaders in a wheelchair.
Yeah, after being shot in the back in May and won't be any football. He says he wants to play football again. Well, the biggest goal was just to get full health for Antonio Anderson, and football's a part of his future. That's a bonus.
Yeah, and again, as it turns out, Aliquippa wins the toss. However, they defer, and so Beaver Falls will have the football 1st and 10. And for Aliquippa, that will mean the kicking game. Donovan Walker is the other co-captain. He was out on the field with Anderson and Clark. And for Beaver Falls, their captains were, I believe that was Tyler Kane out there along with Claudier Thomas and Mekhai Clark. So those 3 were out there representing BF. But Aliquippa does win the toss. They do defer. So we will see how well Beaver Falls can execute its offense. You mentioned those weapons under the direction of Jaron Brickner. We'll find out immediately.
All right, Beaver Falls will move from right to left, moving north here at Reeves. And the Quips will put the tee on the 40-yard line. Or no, the Quips will put the tee on the 40-yard line. Actually, Beaver Falls will be moving to the south end zone, going toward downtown. And we are about ready for football on Facebook Live, Beaver County Radio, WBVP 99.3 FM, and across the globe on the Triblive High School Sports Network. So the Quips, the kick. And the left-footed kick, wobbly, is going to be fielded at the 20. And trying to get to the outside, breaking one tackle and getting to the edge and near the 35-yard line. For Beaver Falls goes Claudier Thomas, one of those big weapons that Nick Nardone, the 5th-year head coach, has. And Beaver Falls starting off in pretty good field position at their own 35.
And that place kicker, that's your man who they call Pele, wearing jersey 89. He's now a senior. Emmanuel Gaidu Monte, if I'm saying that properly, but Pele in lingo of the Quips.
And the junior quarterback for Beaver Falls, Jaron Brickner, heading the offense. He's working out of the shotgun. And to his right, Isaiah Ashbacher, who had a good night last week against the Blackhawk Cougars. This time, over the middle, it's caught. First down, Beaver Falls, a quick hitter over the middle, and it's Tyler Kane hauling it in.
Yeah, and again, Brickner really gave Kane a chance to make a reception. He hit him pretty much right on the jersey number 8 and delivered a strike. On the line for Beaver Falls, a guard Anthony Kusar, tackle Tracy Pugh on the left side, Kamari Matthews in the middle, right tackle Samari McCoy, and I should say the center is Connor Paolucci. Matthews is the right guard.
The quick slant over the middle gains Beaver Falls 13. Now the Fighting Tigers moving from their own 48. Now the sideline pass, and it's behind, and it's going to be picked off. It's a lateral. It'll go as a touchdown for Aliquippa. And with the score for the Quips is Cameron Lindsay. The pass was meant to be a forward pass, but it went behind the intended receiver for Beaver Falls in the name of Trey Singleton. And just like that, Aliquippa grabs a 6-0 lead.
Bob, it's tough with these numbers. I think it might have been 12. I don't want to upstage you because it's really hard to say. It might have been Moreland, but the bottom line is I'm showing that as a 41-yard return. We'll talk to some others in the press box, but the difference between 11 and 12 is pretty shaky. But Beaver Falls clearly threw a lateral. They were doing that all afternoon in the pregame, throwing that pass backwards. And this time it bounced towards the Aliquippa goal, and the Quips recovered in a jiffy.
And now we have a whistle's time and a flag, and it looks like Aliquippa is going to be guilty of delay of game. No, an illegal substitution foul.
Yeah, at any level of, again, let's remember, it's the first game of the year, and you quickly score a defensive touchdown. So sometimes it might take a little bit of time to get the kicking team in gear. But, Bob, if you look at the left end of the line, 12 and 11 are standing right next to each other. It's really hard to say who is who. That's tough.
All right. Emmanuel Gaidu Martley. They call him Pele, and the kick is up, and it's no good. So those 5 yards meant something. We're going to take a minute timeout. Aliquippa, defensive touchdown on the second play of the game, and it's 6-0 Quips as we return on Beaver County Radio and Facebook Live.
Listening to live sports on the radio in Beaver County is a tradition. This is Craig Fontana from Moon Township Ford, and I ought to know. My dad, Bill Fontana, has called games for over 50 years. Beaver County people know a good call when they hear one, and the best call you can make is to buy your next new or used vehicle at Moon Township Ford. Click moontownshipford.net or visit Moon Township Ford on University Boulevard.
Falcone's Moon Township Ford, where friends send friends.
In order to call the right play, you have to be able to communicate. Dental hygiene not only affects appearance and eating habits, it can also have an impact on your ability to speak clearly. Dr. C. Timothy Lip wants you to keep your teeth in the game, and he has a playbook designed for success so that you can call the right play or even call an audible. Get suited up for a win, or at least a winning smile, by joining Dr. C. Timothy Lip's team in Beaver Falls or Robinson Township. Visit lipdentistry.com.
And Bruce did confirm up in the press box that it was Dorius Moreland, the junior, who picked off the fumble. It was a lateral throw. I don't think it was designed to be a lateral, but it ended up being a lateral, and Trey Singleton could not haul it in, but the one who did haul it in off the bounce was Moreland, and he goes the distance. 41 yards, you say, Bruce?
Yeah, Bob, that was no accident. I mean, Beaver Falls had been throwing that pass repeatedly in pregame warm-ups in a lateral, in a backwards fashion. And so, again, that was what was designed. But when it's thrown behind the receiver and it bounces on an artificial surface like this, the bottom line for Moreland, it was an early Christmas present. It bounced right into his lap. I mean, he caught it about thigh pad high. He didn't have to bend over too much.
And there was no question on the field. Everybody knew that it was behind the line of scrimmage, and it was picked up by Moreland. So Aliquippa, thanks to their defense, they get their first touchdown of the season in their first game of the campaign. And this one, end over end, fielded at the 20. And out to about the 34 for Beaver Falls goes Isaiah Ashbacher. So the Tigers, as we have an injury to a Beaver Falls Tiger, and that's Dre Hall, the freshman on special teams, who's getting some assistance on the field. Beaver Falls had a very positive play. The quick slant over the middle, 13-yard play that went into the hands of Tyler Kane, and then the bottom fell out on snap number 2, and Aliquippa leads 6-0. We're going to take a timeout on the field as they're looking at Dre Hall on the artificial service here at Reeves. We will take a minute timeout. It's 6-0 Aliquippa on Beaver County Radio and Triblive Sports. It might be time to repair or replace that old garage door. By Barrickman, here for electric garage door sales in Monaca. Call on Robin and her team of expert installers. Dial 724-774-3200, and your door will work like a charm. Featuring CHI quality garage doors and LiftMaster garage door openers. With over 50 years of experience, Robin and her team will get it done right. Give them a call, 724-774-3200, or find them online at electricgarageDoorSales.com. He's getting up. We're okay. All right, well, the good news, being helped off the carpet, is the freshman Dre Hall. May not see him. He's being assisted. Could be an ankle, but at least he is up and heading to the sideline. So Beaver Falls, which trails 6-0, starting from their own 35 for the second time in this game, and trailing 6-0. Now on the end around, and trying to get to the corner and getting about 4 as he was able to break a tackle. And for Beaver Falls with the carry is Mekhi Clark. It'll be a gain of 4, 2nd and 6 for the Fighting Tigers.
It is what we talked about, Aliquippa having 9 guys break 12 seconds and 100 in the meet, is that they got all kind of speed. It's never, ever, ever easy to run laterally against the Quips.
All right, so Jaron Brickner, gets the call from the sideline. Split to the left goes Mekhi Clark, and to the right goes Trey Singleton. Richard, but they call him Trey Singleton. And then Ashbacher, the big back behind Brickner. And Brickner calls his own number and really just gets back to the line of scrimmage. The Quips guessed on that play, and they guessed right, and it's going to be 3rd and 6.
Yeah, Moreland, among others, was in on the play, coming up from his defensive end position, or actually say coming across. He's the right defensive end for Aliquippa, and he comes up in great run support. And again, that's why Moreland made the play. See, he's on the right defensive end. He was right there when that whole episode took place for the fumble recovery.
10.5 minutes to go first quarter. Quips getting their touchdown defensively on the fumble recovery just 46 seconds into the game. So 3rd down and 6. Beaver Falls flooding their offense. 3 receivers to the left. Rolling left is the left-hander. And taking off with the football and getting not even back to the line of scrimmage. Aliquippa once again. And this is a very quick defense, and that is Moreland on the stop. So he has made his presence felt early on. It's 4th down and 7, and Beaver Falls' punting unit is on the field.
Right, and certainly Brickner was flushed out of the pocket because Aliquippa had great weak side help. From the left side came Damon Iabuchi, if I'm saying that properly, 5'9", 180, a defensive end wearing jersey 42. He swept in and chased Brickner to his left.
So Beaver Falls must punt with 9.5 minutes to go in the opening quarter. Aliquippa will get their first offensive possession, even though they lead at 6-0. This one angles out, actually hits the carpet and takes a little turn upfield. It's down by Beaver Falls, but the Quips will put it in play at their own 42.
Yeah, and Bob, that's going to go down as a 19-yard punt. I mean, it went from the 39 to the 40. It's a 19-yard punt. It was rushed because the low snap, the ball was on the turf. The punter had to field it. And when the ball kicked back towards Beaver Falls' way, it winds up as a short turf field for the Quips.
Expected to get the start at quarterback, the sophomore Quentin Good. And he is lined up behind center. Aliquippa working from the I formation. First down, first snap, Aliquippa, second man through the tailback and busting loose and getting into Beaver Falls territory, and that is Cameron Lindsay. And that's going to be a gain of 9 for Aliquippa.
Yeah, the hole was created immediately at the point of attack by Aliquippa, right up through the front. It was off the left side. Aliquippa really explosive in that sense. Jason McBride, we've talked about him before. He's on that left side. He helped make it happen, as well as Nikon Crowder. These guys have been here for 7 years, it seems like, on Aliquippa's offensive line. But obviously that's a joke. But the fact is, these are guys like Crowder. They have been around.
And we got a timeout. No indication of who called it, but there is a timeout on the field. Let's take a 30-second break. We'll try to get you a new Brighton-Rochester score on WMBA when we come back on Beaver County Radio. Hi, this is Bob Barrickman here for Fry Transportation. When it comes to school buses in Beaver County, it sure is hard not to notice the shiny Fry Transportation fleet. Fry Transportation has been a local family-owned Beaver County business for over 30 years. As any successful football team must be dependable and reliable, these same qualities have made Fry Transportation a champion operation. Best wishes to all local teams and safe travels to the gridirons this season. From your friends at Fry Transportation. Oh my God. And we come back to live action. That was a media timeout, and Lindsay broke about 5 tackles, just refused to go down. They finally bring him to the turf at the 36, but it's a first down. Aliquippa, Cameron Lindsay with 2 carries and a first down, and the Quips are on the move with a 6-0 lead.
Yeah, it was a very effective inside-out move he used before he got to the line of scrimmage to get past the first wave.
Quentin Good, now the quarterback, just a sophomore. And this time it's Lindsay again. Turns the corner, and he's tripped up a shoestring tackle. And saving what could have been a touchdown was Singleton. It'll be close to an Aliquippa first down, and they say it is a first down at the Tiger 25.
Yeah, a very difficult play for Singleton to come up out of the secondary and catch a guy who had a good burst of speed, but Singleton was able to make the play. And Bob, you're entirely accurate. He saved the touchdown.
Quentin Good, the sophomore. Jabari Cleckley was looked upon to be the starting quarterback. He's a senior, but he moved to Atlanta earlier in the summer, so an adjustment made. But Quentin Good, though, he has some weapons, and he's got a great line, and I think he'll be just fine. Out of the I formation now, and rolling right is good. Off the back foot, it is brought in but bobbled, and Singleton made sure that the receiver does not come down with the football, and the intended receiver was Lindsay.
I'm sorry, I guess that is 10 now if we look at that. You check that out. Yeah, that is 10.
Tajir Thornton, the senior, the intended receiver, and Singleton was able to come over to make sure Thornton didn't haul it in, and it's second down and 10.
Yeah, it was a good idea by Aliquippa. They flooded the right side, but Beaver Falls was relentless in his pursuit of the pass, so they were able to shut things down.
So the Quips at the Beaver Falls 25 with a 6-0 lead. Single back. And getting the call, and a huge hole off the right side, getting about 6 yards for Aliquippa was Nate Lindsay. And the junior rips off 6, and it's going to be third down and 4.
Yeah, again, Aliquippa's drive blocking in the running game. These are big dudes. Let's take a look. Maurice Carey is 6'1", 210. He's in there. And we've talked about McBride before, 6'3", 325. Therese Jones, 6'6", 365.
Wow, 365.
Look, check it out. Yeah, 372. The right tackle, 365.
He has not had a problem finding at the buffet table.
Well, last year he weighed 366 because it was a leap year, but now he's down to 365. One for every day of the year.
Well, I'm glad he's watching his weight. and we got a timeout, Aliquippa. And we will be back in a minute. Aliquippa 3rd down and 4. They lead at 6-0 over Beaver Falls here on Beaver County Radio, Triblive, and Facebook Live.
In sports broadcasts, the pregame show will set the stage for the upcoming game coverage. In life, a pre-career start at the Beaver County Career and Technology Center can set your high school student for life. This is Laura Delvecchio, the Assistant Administrative Director at the Beaver County Career and Technology Center, with more great news. There is still availability for this school year in some of our top-earning career training programs like masonry, machine tool technology, collision repair, and greenhouse and landscaping. But you must act now. Have your child or grandchild see their school counselor today. Hurry! Classroom space is limited, and these prime opportunities are on a first-come, first-served basis. Let the Beaver County CTC open doors for you in the game of life. Click bcctc.org.
On 3rd down, the pass is incomplete. Good had to run for his life. He was getting pressure, and the pass was intended for Jace Williams. Now it's 4th down and 4, and obviously Aliquippa will go for it here.
Yes, when you're in the red zone and you have the weapons Aliquippa does, you're certainly going to try to make things happen. Let's tell our listeners the ball's on the right hash mark, so the wide side would be the left, should Aliquippa choose to head in that direction.
This is a big play, especially for the defense, trying to stop this Aliquippa down 6-0. It's 4th down and 4. Quips have 2 wideouts to the right. Good quick drop. Has the receiver, but he overthrows the intended target, and Beaver Falls will take over on downs. It remains a 6-0 game.
Yeah, and Good had the right idea. He looked directly at the receiver, but maybe in his eagerness to make a play, he came up with it a little bit high, and so the result is 1st down BF.
Donovan Walker was the target, and he's got good size, but Quentin Good just a little bit off on the throw, and Beaver Falls will take over at their 19-yard line, their 3rd offensive possession. The first one ended up in the end zone, but it was the black and red of Aliquippa that scored on the 41-yard fumble recovery and return by Dorian Moreland. And now we have a media timeout. We'll keep it right here, though. We understand that New Brighton and Rochester still scoreless on WMBA with Mike and Jason. And Bruce, we are here at Reeves. And good start early for Aliquippa. Now Beaver Falls, maybe they could settle down, because if they would have scored a touchdown there, I think it might have gotten out of hand potentially, but now Beaver Falls, their defense, even though they yielded a lot of yards, they get the football back and early down a touchdown.
Yeah, that's true, Bob, but Beaver Falls has to figure out how to make a go of it. They had 1 first down on the first snap of the game. They completed pass to Tyler Kane, but their second drive was 54 seconds on a 3-and-out with a punt. Bob, what Beaver Falls' brain trust has to figure out is what every other team that plays against Aliquippa has to figure out, and that's how to move the ball. Aliquippa's line, defensive line, how are you going to push these people around? It's not easy to do.
No, Aliquippa, it seems like forever that they've had a great offensive and defensive line.
Right, but again, some of these guys seem like they have been there forever, and we certainly – They've clearly spent a lot of time in developing these players.
And behind center in the gun goes Brickner. Brickner looks over the middle, has a receiver, and turning it into about a 6-yard gain, maybe 7 on the reception for the Quips is Quadir Thomas, and it's 2nd down and 3.
Yeah, and Thomas, to his credit, when he was hit by 3 Aliquippa defenders, the tendency is to try to wiggle and spin and squirm your way for more yardage. That's when fumbles can always take place, but he was able to secure the football and fall forward to give Beaver Falls a favorable situation with the sticks.
So the Fighting Tigers looking at 2nd down and 3, just over the midway point of the first quarter. 6-0 Aliquippa. And the give this time, and there's nothing there, period. And that was Isaiah Ashbacher and the Quips. Very difficult to run against.
Bob, I politely disagree with you. You said there was nothing there, and on a technicality, you meant nothing. There was something there. There was Tyrese Jones at 6'6.5", 365. He was there. Again, it's all semantics, but I know what you meant.
Sorry about the faux pas.
Yeah.
It's only the second week of the year.
You're
Bruce.
right. We're at week 1, but yeah, that I know what you mean. There was nothing there, no running room, and again, Jones is the reason why.
And they lose a yard. Actually, it's 3rd down and 4. And rolling left is Brickner, and the fade pattern, and this ball is picked off at the 45-yard line by Aliquippa, moving to the 30. The second turnover, the first resulted in a touchdown, and this one could set up one perhaps for Aliquippa. Donovan Walker picks off the overthrow and takes it down to the Beaver Falls 24-yard line.
And we talked about it before. Aliquippa just has too many guys with speed. They react. The ball goes up. They swerve in on it, and Aliquippa has good field position. The challenge is on BF to keep them out.
So Aliquippa has a short field trying to extend its 6-0 lead. Now 3 backs in the backfield. It goes to Lindsey. Nothing there for Lindsey that time. The Tigers are able to get to him, and leading away was Thomas. It'll be 2nd down and 10.
I also want to correct myself. Tyrese Jones is not, in fact, the nose tackle. It's 7-0 Naquan Crowder at 6'4", 345. So I got my 70 and 72 a little bit confused, but the net result is Aliquippa really is plugging the holes defensively.
Already 2 turnovers, one that resulted in a Moreland fumble recovery for a score, and this one putting Aliquippa in good shape, 2nd down and 10. Good, the sophomore goes into the gun. Has a partner to his right, and now a man in motion to the right. Looking, Goods got time, he throws, and it's going to be broken up right at the point. And a great play by Singleton, able to make the hit and not the interference, as the ball was intended for Tajier Thornton. But now the officials are discussing, boy, this is a close one. And
Singleton being very aggressive, though, because he's listed at 5'11", 160.
No, this is actually an ineligible man downfield for Aliquippa. At first guess, it might have been, Singleton was too early, but now the face-off and the marking will go against Aliquippa. That'll move it back to the 34-yard line.
And, Bob, this is what we talked about in the pregame show. Aliquippa did not play in week 0. These are the kind of things, if you're coaches, you're trying to reduce, is these self-inflicted penalties. But Aliquippa will just respond from that and just have to change their playbook a little, run something different.
Well, it turned out to be a 5-yard penalty, which you can maybe argue they marked off 10, but realizing it was just 5, and you could have made an argument that they could have declined it and made it 3rd and 10, but they decide to throw it, and they get the reception to Lindsey, but not much of a gain. He might have picked up 2 to the 27. That'll bring up 3rd down and 13.
Right, we've already talked about Aliquippa's speed to the outside. Well, Beaver Falls has speed to the outside defensively also. Okay. They're able to get out into space and make the play. And I would certainly think in on there was Quadir Thomas from his left cornerback position. He was effective in stringing that thing out, as well as the safety, Dason Anderson. He was in that area as well, making Aliquippa stop.
Well, Aliquippa has 2 receivers to the short side. Ball was on the right hash mark. It's 3rd down and a baker's dozen. 3 minutes to go in the quarter. Rolling out is good. Now the little flip pass, and it's hauled in. Nice reception made, and down to the 12-yard line, and that's a first down for Aliquippa.
You would think that was Sire Clark, wearing jersey number 6.
Yes.
This is where we got so crazy with him and Anderson, who was number 8.
Sire Clark hauls it in. Nice grab. Pass was just a tad offline, but Clear makes a good adjustment. Sire Clark, I should say, takes down to the 12. They pick up the needed yardage, and it's a first down Aliquippa trying to extend its 6-0 lead.
Clark's a veteran. He knows how to adjust and come out and find his quarterback.
Quentin Good now behind center. Out of the eye comes Aliquippa. Receivers both left and right, and it goes to Lindsey. And Lindsey is brought down right at the line of scrimmage, actually behind it. It's going to be a loss of 3. They say his knee touched at the 15, and Beaver Falls makes the play and leading the way for the Tigers defensively. I'm going to say Anthony Kusar.
Yeah, I'm with you all the way. Jersey number 52 from his defensive end position certainly was effective on the inside. And this Damian Lee for Beaver Falls is a big kid at nose tackle as well. He was plugging things up in addition.
2nd and 13, Aliquippa with 1:50 left in the first quarter. No offensive scores, even though Aliquippa leads at 6-0. Out of the eye, and it is Lindsey, and he's tripped up. A nice play defensively, and getting in there for the Fighting Tigers was Brix Rawl. Brix, B-R-I-X-X. I love it. And that will be no gain.
Well, I know what you're going to say. Does he live in a bricks house?
I would say so. I don't know.
That seems reasonable.
I don't know his.
That's good.
I don't know his domain, but I'm guessing house instead of apartment.
That's mighty, mighty.
All right. Nonetheless, Brix makes the play, and it's 3rd down and 11 for the Quips with 1 minute to go in the opening quarter.
Ball in the middle of the field just about, so there's no real hash mark to prefer.
Good. Now on the pump fake. Quentin Good into the corner, and it's going to be overthrown. Good coverage by the Fighting Tigers, and you're kind of in that no man's land. Now, Pele might have the range where they might try a 30-yard field goal, and it looks like the field goal team is on the field.
Thomas and Clark back there defensively for Beaver Falls. A good double team in the end zone. So Beaver Falls has done good film work. They recognize, we've seen all night, Beaver Falls' Tigers recognizing where Aliquippa's wideouts are going to be, and by and large, they've done a good job.
Well, they will try it. Emmanuel Mantee on the left-footed kicker. The ball was right in the middle of the field. This will be good for 30 if he connects. And the kick is up, and the kick is good. So they do get a 2-possession lead. They get some points out of it. The first offensive points of the year for Aliquippa. We'll take a minute timeout. It's Aliquippa 9, Beaver Falls nothing. You're listening to high school football on Beaver County Radio, Facebook Live, and Triblive.
Being part of a credit union is like being part of a team. This is Cindy Hiladio from Friendly Federal Credit Union. Last year, we loaned out over $8 million to our members for all sorts of reasons. Friendly Federal Credit Union enables local people to do things by working together like a team. Visit Friendly Federal Credit Union in Baden or Aliquippa. Member NCUA Equal Housing Lender.
Friendly Federal Credit Union. You got a friend.
How can I help my child to make positive choices?
Start with a conversation. Start making the difference.
Beaver County Parents, is your child between the ages of 10 and 14? If so, Keystone Wellness Programs is offering the Strengthening Families program in your area. This free program is designed for families to have fun together while learning ways to promote family bonding and communications. For more information about upcoming sessions near you, visit KeystoneWellnessPrograms.org, paid for with PA taxpayer dollars.
And a low kick, and it's going to be picked up by Aliquippa on the short kickoff by John Tracy, the sophomore. So Aliquippa, or Beaver Falls, I should say, with the kickoff return, Deshaun Anderson, excuse me, I had my rosters mixed, and Anderson on the short kick will put Beaver Falls at the 41-yard line.
I'm sort of partial because I did it as a high school football player. The holder for Aliquippa on that attempt was a backup quarterback, Joe Krotek, wearing jersey 19.
Okay, so the hold was good, the kick was good, and it's 9-0 Aliquippa. And now we have some movement. It looks like Aliquippa might have been guilty penetrating a neutral zone.
We'll see. We're sitting near the line of scrimmage, so we got a good viewpoint of it.
All right, that's 5 against Aliquippa. Gavin Reese has some scores for us, courtesy of Malik Garrett at the Fry Transportation Update Desk. Rochester has taken a 7-0 lead over New Brighton on WMBA. Blackhawk tied with Central Valley. The defending state champion Warriors 7-7. North Catholic leading Ambridge 14-0. It is Our Lady of Sacred Heart 7, Riverside no score, 7-0 the Shannock lead Southside, Moon leading Montour 7-0, and the later game tonight at 7:30, Western Beaver at Freedom. So it'll be 1st down and 5 for Beaver Falls as the ball was now position at the 46 of the Fighting Tigers. Back to throw Brickner. Brickner going for the home run. He's got a receiver. He's got a touchdown to Trey Singleton.
I would say Thomas. But
was it Thomas?
Yeah, number 9. Yes, I would say Thomas.
54-yard reception by Quindier Thomas. And Beaver Falls has tied the game. They strike it big.
Well, they haven't quite tied the game because they're down 9-0.
Oh, that's right. You're right. Excuse me. I had that field goal. I escaped my mind. But, yeah, they could cut it down to 2 or 1, depending on what Beaver Falls decides to do. And they do have Tyler Kane on the field. It's 9-6 Aliquippa on the 54-yard bomb by Brickner into the hands of Quindier Thomas. And the kick by Kane is up, and it is good. We'll take a 1-minute timeout. It's gotten interesting here at Reeves. It's Aliquippa 9, Beaver Falls 7. Now this on Beaver County Radio, Facebook, and Triblive.
Did you think you would see a day when nobody showed up for the big city holiday parades or pro sports events? This is Michelle from Laughlin Insurance Agency in Rochester. If nothing else, this past year has taught us that things we never considered possible can happen and that nobody can predict the future. At the Laughlin Agency, your Penn National insurance provider, we give you the ability to protect against loss during unexpected times. Who knows what the future holds? Visit LaughlinInsAgency.com.
The law firm of Luxembourg, Garbett, Kelly, and George, keeping promises for over 80 years. Attorney Chuck Garbett.
What we tell them, number one, they cannot guarantee the result. All we can guarantee is the effort and an honest evaluation. Not every case goes to court. Most of them settle. There's a reason most of our cases settle out of court, and that's because over the years, the insurance companies have realized that when we're involved in a case, we do prepare that case as if it will go to trial. And we aren't afraid to take a case to trial. The insurance company keeps a book on the lawyers. There's a lot of lawyers out there that yell and scream and they pound their chest and we're going to do this and we're going to do that. But they haven't seen an inside of a courtroom maybe in 30 to 40 years. And the insurance industry knows that. Well, with us, it's a little different.
For your free consultation from the law firm of Luxembourg, Garbett, Kelly, and George, call 724-658-8535 or visit them online at lgkg.com.
Wide open, Quindier Thomas and the extra point good. It's 9-7 Aliquippa, and we could be down to our final snap of this first period.
You just don't see that all the time. Teams going upstairs on Aliquippa right down the middle.
Lindsey on the carry might have gotten, well, no, he breaks a tackle and he gets 5. Should have been 2, but Lindsey stuck with it, and he gets it to the 45-yard line. Excuse me, and it's going to be second down for Aliquippa, and that should do it for one quarter. We'll break for a minute, And we've had an interesting one, a long bomb for a touchdown, a long fumble recovery for a score, and the difference is the three-pointer by Pele. After one, it's Aliquippa 9, Beaver Falls 7. Now this minute timeout on Beaver County Radio, 1230 WBVP, 99.3 FM, and of course on Triblive Sports.
In sports broadcasts, the pregame show will set the stage for the upcoming game coverage. In life, a pre-career start at the Beaver County Career and Technology Center can set your high school student for life. This is Laura Delvecchio, the Assistant Administrative Director at the Beaver County Career and Technology Center, with more great news. There is still availability for this school year in some of our top-earning career training programs like masonry, machine tool technology, collision repair, and greenhouse and landscaping. But you must act now. Have your child or grandchild see their school counselor today. Hurry! Classroom space is limited, and these prime opportunities are on a first-come, first-served basis. Let the Beaver County CTC open doors for you in the game of life. Click bcctc.org.
I just love my Tyler Mountain Waterman.
That's something I hear all the time. This is Stefan Sasek from Tri-State Waters. I'm the guy that is out and about delivering that Tyler Mountain 100% natural spring water. I'm everywhere from New Brighton to Old Economy. Tri-State Waters delivers, and I'm the one driving the truck. From Beaver to Raccoon Township, I'm the waterman they love and the waterman that delivers. We even go to Poland, well, Ohio that is. If you need home or office delivery, call today and ask for Stefan, 724-774-4644.
Your soul. That's
yeah,
great.
They're leaving at 2. I think I'm going to
How many buses they take for one of them?
And we are returning to Reeves, and it is Aliquippa football as we move to the second. Aliquippa will now head toward the south end zone. By the way, from the Friday Transportation Update desk, Central Valley now leading Blackhawk 14-7, and we also have a couple up more scores, new ones. Mohawk 14, Cornell 7, West Allegheny 21, Trinity 14, a shootout in Washington County. Right here it's 9-7 Aliquippa as the Quips get a defensive touchdown on the long fumble recovery by Moreland and the three-pointer by Pele, Emmanuel Manti. But Beaver Falls gets within 2 on the strike from Brickner to Quadir Thomas, and it's 9-7.
The cool thing about Pele is he wears jersey 89. Was Mike Ditka 89 or 88 at Aliquippa? I'm not sure of that, but that's pretty distinguished company if that's the case.
Google it, Bruce, and get me the answer.
We might have to. Or I could just go to Aliquippa and maybe look at a trophy case. But either way, when I saw him wearing jersey 89, that's the first thing I thought of.
And right now, that stands as the difference in this football game with that three-pointer. And they've taken a media timeout. Lots of media. Good crowd up here in the press box on this gorgeous night for football. And well attended. I mean, who wouldn't want to be at an Aliquippa Beaver Falls football game when it's probably
71 degrees or whatever it is.
Yeah.
With no breeze. Look at the flag. Look at the flags on the goalpost. Nothing to speak of.
Now on first down, Quips go on offense, and the shotgun goes good. Good play fake, and that is a pass down the field, and it's caught! What a catch down to the 10-yard line! My goodness, stretching for the football and getting it.
I think Clark. Let's take a look. It's a single digit for Aliquippa. We can narrow it down that.
I believe it was Zaire Clark. Yeah. You're right, Bruce.
Yeah. And Bob, you know what's ironic about that? I mean, that was right down the same hash mark just about that BF just threw the ball. Because we've changed quarters, that's how it took place. But we've seen long bombs from midfield to about the 10-yard line. The only difference is Beaver Falls scored 6, but Aliquippa was just content for the first down at, we'd say, the 12.
That pass good for 48 yards. Aliquippa trying to get that 2-score lead back intact, and this time on the run and a marker comes in. This one could be coming back.
Yeah, for my money, that was Nate Lindsay wearing jersey 7, a 5'11 junior. But we'll let the officials sort it out. As he was stopped inside the 10, it's just a question of how this flag will be assessed.
Okay, our good friend Tom Hayes doing the play-by-play on Central Valley Video has told us that Central Valley now leading Blackhawk 24-7. And that is in the second quarter. They mark it off against the Quips. That'll go back to the 17. So a hold. They get a couple yards on the play, but it's going to be first down and goal from the 17 of Beaver Falls.
I wouldn't quite say goal. I think that Aliquippa could make the sticks, but not get into the end zone down at the 3.
You're right, Bruce. I guess they could get a first down at the 1. Lindsay breaks a tackle, and he gets down to about the 7. It'll be second and let's call it 6 for a first down.
Yeah, and Beaver Falls, again, Aliquippa was able to make a dent right at the point of attack. You have to credit Beaver Falls in that situation. Clark, Mekhi Clark coming up and making the stop out of the secondary. That's difficult run support when you're inside like that.
So Aliquippa will try to get the touchdown, and with the carry and getting inside the 5 and down to about the 3, and that's Lindsay. Cameron Lindsay with the call, and he's going to be pushed backward, but they'll give him forward progress near the 2.
It's a first down, though. That's the big thing for Aliquippa. So they're going to have 4 shots at it from about 1.5. Bob, what would you say? 2 yards, 1.5 yards? You tell me.
No, it's definitely only a yard.
Yeah,
they gave him a pretty good spot.
Right. So yeah, we'll say 4 feet. We'll say a yard. The ball's right on that 1 yard stripe. So Aliquippa, I would think, is going to resort to power football.
And good behind the line of scrimmage, and they do have the full house set, and the give and the touchdown.
I would think that was. Martinez, Isaiah Martinez.
Yes, I heard him say number 3, and that is Martinez. And Aliquippa now with a full 1 possession lead, and if Pele can kick it, it would be up to a 2-score advantage for Aliquippa.
So yeah, this is a pivotal placement kick for the visiting Quips.
So a 60-yard drive, if you could call it that, but 48 yards on 1 play to Clark.
And Bob, the other thing for Good is a first-year starter. That's got to give him a tremendous amount of confidence, knowing that he can deliver a dime on a receiver like that from 40-some yards out.
Well, are the Quips going to try for 2?
Yes, they are. Direct snap to Good. He'll take it out of the shotgun.
Well, this is a little risky because if they don't get it, it would be a 1-possession lead. And Good rolls right, pass in the end zone, but no problem for Aliquippa, hauling it in before he got to the end line. And we'll check his number. Of course, the Quip numbers, you got red on black, but Aliquippa gets the 2. We'll address that in a moment. We'll take a 30-second timeout, just under 10 minutes to go before halftime. It's Aliquippa 17, Beaver Falls 7. We'll be back with more from Reeves on Beaver County Radio and Triblive.
When it comes to an emergency, seconds can make a difference between life and death. Medic Rescue has been serving the citizens of Beaver County by providing the best ambulance service. Medic Rescue has been Beaver County's #1 provider of emergency medical care and transport services for over 40 years. Their trained paramedics and emergency medical technicians are knowledgeable, experienced, and can evaluate emergencies quickly and accurately so that you get the life-saving care you need. Don't just ask for an ambulance, ask for Medic Rescue.
The lights out there, but I'm glad the lights are on in here, that's for sure.
And we continue our coverage. So Beaver Falls sees Aliquippa get their first touchdown of the season, and it was set up on a 48-yard pass for the score. No, for
the first down.
Okay.
Yeah, the pass set up Aliquippa in deep, but it was not a touchdown pass, the bomb.
All right. 13-0. Olsh leading Riverside at the half. Rick Plasmeyer, the cameraman, he's on top of the Panthers tonight in North Sewickley Township. And Malik Garrett, our producer, he texts me and says Ditka was 89 and Pele 88. But, boy, that looks to me, at least on the roster, that it's 88. Yeah, that's Emmanuel
89.
Mante. So maybe they were both 89. We'll go with that for now.
Well, yeah, Pele is 89, quite clearly.
All right.
And Ditka was 89, Malik says. So that's why, again, that's why I thought of it in the first place. It seemed astounding. Now, the trivia question is, if you walked up to Pele right now and said, do you know who Mike Ditka is? Wonder what the answer would be.
Oh, boy,
Or even better yet, what if you walked up to Mike Ditka and said, do you know who Emmanuel Gaiodu Monte is?
Oh, well, you just say Pele, then he'll know.
That's true. No question.
All right. Nonetheless, they did not go to Pele for the kick, but they get the extra point as a result on the 2-point reception by Thornton. This one is a deep one, and it's going to be fielded, and it has to be returned. No, they're going to say that Singleton did go into the end zone, so it's an automatic touchback, and they'll start from their 20.
Aliquippa with outstanding kickoff coverage. They had a number of black jerseys right in on the goal line ready to make a play, but touchback is correctly called, and Beaver Falls is out to the 20. It is the 20. Would the NFL change things, right, on kickoff? Didn't they?
Yes.
Touchbacks are different in the NFL. So
yeah,
we got to make sure we know what day it is. It's only Friday right now.
Yeah, I was even thinking, is it 20 or 25? But my first guess, fortunately, was right this time. So it's at the 20. Beaver Falls heading toward a north end zone, down by 10. And the carry, and nothing there. It's going to be a 2-yard loss for Beaver Falls.
Yeah, again, it's difficult to run laterally on Aliquippa. They're able to string things out so well. They have big guys to make the hits inside, then fast guys on the outside to finish things off.
Second down and 11 after the yard loss to Singleton, but he had no chance. Aliquippa was ready and waiting for Trey, and it's second down and 11. 9:23 left in the second quarter. Aliquippa 17, Beaver Falls 7. Now in the gun goes the junior, Brickner. And the southpaw who had that big strike for the touchdown into the arms
whistle.
of Thomas.
Who can it be?
Timeout. So that is why there was a whistle. And we will take a minute break. 9:07 to go in the half. Aliquippa by 10, 17-7 will return on Beaver County Radio and Triblive.
When you're a superhero, you got big responsibilities. This is the Aquaman of Beaver County, Jim Riggio from the Beaver Falls Municipal Authority. The Aquamen and Aquawomen of the Beaver Falls Municipal Authority really do look after the needs of the community, just like real superheroes. The service we provide really is super, and the dedication of our workers can only be described as heroic. We just don't always wear spandex suits and capes. This is the Aquaman of Beaver County, and I'll keep the water on for you. Click bfwater.net.
There's something for everybody this semester at CCBC. Whether you're leveling up a career or launching a new life, CCBC has got you covered. In fact, CCBC is straight to you. Your local library is now a CCBC classroom. Build career skills and earn college credit right in your backyard. Check out credit and non-credit classes starting in the near future. Click ccbc.edu/fall for more information. Right place, right time. CCBC is right where you need them this fall.
Second down and 11, Beaver Falls, 9:07 to go in the half. Aliquippa with a 17-7 lead. Brickner looking. Brickner in trouble. Brickner goes down at the 6. And you don't get that much time if you can't find a receiver. Aliquippa will bring the house, and I believe Mason Lewis might have been on that stop, and it's going to be third down in a bundle.
Right. The face mask on Aliquippa, though, is going to change things dramatically because that was part of how Brickner was sacked. They got him on the head, so that'll change things quite a bit.
All right, so that's a huge break for Beaver Falls, and that's going to take the ball to the 21. They spot it from the infraction. So Beaver Falls now at 2nd and 9, still not in an enviable position, but it beats the heck out of being third and forever from your own 6.
Yeah, no question of that. But Aliquippa, you can always tell when a guy spins around and his head's out to one side, and it was just Aliquippa got there so fast. Sometimes it's hard to get your hands back.
Brickner, quick drop over the middle, and it's behind the receiver. He had the receiver in Singleton, but it was just a little off, and Singleton could not bring it in. It's third down and 10.
Yeah, Singleton banging his helmet in frustration because he believes he could have come down with a pass, but it winds up incomplete, and Aliquippa basically dodges a bullet there because that would have been first down yardage for sure.
Aliquippa coming in, ranked, I believe, number 5 in the Post-Gazette in 4A, and coming off a trip to the championship game. It wasn't at Heinz Field like it was the 12 previous championships because of the COVID, but this time the pass is, this time it's behind a receiver, and Singleton missed it. It would have been a first down. Beaver Falls, they tried to get the football to Trey Singleton, but instead the punting unit comes out on the field.
And Bob, to finish up on your comments, the one thing that we do know is that 5A, 4A, 3A, 2A, and 1A will be at Heinz Field this year. And again, don't call the station. Don't bother Malik right now. 2 of them are November 26th, which is a Friday after Thanksgiving, and 3 of them are November 27th. But they just haven't said which classes are which, so please don't call us up. It hasn't been determined.
And 6A will be somewhere else, don't know, because their state playoffs start sooner. And the left-footed boot not far for distance. And the loose football, who's got it? I believe the Quips pounce on it, and Beaver Falls really needed a break, but Aliquippa is able to dodge the bullet, and they'll start from the Beaver Falls 43.
Yeah, it's a very good drive start for Aliquippa, and the bottom line, Bob, in this game, Aliquippa has enjoyed field position the entire time. There's no question about it. Beaver Falls created their own with a long bomb that time, but still BF has been starting typically in its own territory, and Aliquippa has been starting its drives in very good field position. This is one of their better efforts.
Quentin Good has been looking rather good in this first half for Aliquippa. He spells an E at the end of good. And this time breaking a tackle, getting close to the first down, and on second effort, they do get the first down at the Beaver Falls 33.
Yeah, and one more time, I'm pretty sure that's Lindsay. And Bob, Aliquippa, you got to hand it to them. Look at all the accolades we heaped on Vernon Red for how well he carried the football, and it's almost like he was never there. The way Aliquippa, the beat goes on as they continue to find a running back.
So it's first down for the Quips. 8 minutes left in the half. Aliquippa with a 17-7 lead. New Brighton now trailing Rochester 13-0 at Rochester Stadium on WMBA from the Fry Transportation Update Desk with Jason Colangelo and Mike Azadi, and this time on the end around Aliquippa, breaking free, getting inside the 20, down near the 15 and the 14-yard line.
I'd say Clark, to be honest with you.
And Aliquippa just has so many weapons, and they're really starting to look comfortable. And was that Sire Clark, did you say?
I think, yes, because he typically starts in that slot on the wide side. So when they bring him back to the near side, yes.
He'll come out of the lineup, so great play by Clark. First down, Quips at the 14 of Beaver Falls, and Aliquippa trying to extend this to a 3-score advantage. In the gun goes Good. Has a running back to his left. And a man in motion left. And
Coach Warfield out in the field calling timeout. He just did not like the look of his offensive. You could just see him making hand gestures and motions that he was not pleased. So the Quips call that timeout, Bob. I have them with 2.5.
Right.
So they have 1 remaining. The good news for coaches is they're getting so many from these media timeouts because this game's being televised.
Well, during our halftime show, we'll go to our Triblive report with Dawn Rebel. So we'll check on what's happening back at Triblive with Dawn, get you caught up on the scores. And Aliquippa trying to extend its lead with 7 minutes to go in the half.
That is a 10-point lead for the Quips, 17-7.
So the Quips using their second timeout.
BF, I would think, has 2 left, Bob.
Beaver Falls, you're right. They do have 2 left. And Beaver Falls, they've come up with a couple big plays in the air. You just get the feeling that Aliquippa is going to be a hard defense to push around on the ground.
But the bottom line is Beaver Falls cannot run the football at this point.
Well, that's the bottom line. Now it is Good in the gun. And Good, and the counter play, and the handoff, and bingo, touchdown. And that is Lindsay. Lindsay scores from 14 yards out, and it's 23-7 Aliquippa.
And that's what we like to call a flag football touchdown, because Lindsay, if it were flag football, it's one thing to not tackle him. They would not have even yanked his flag because there was no contact. Nobody was anywhere near him. It was such a well-executed delay counter, as they call it, that he's able to score standing up, no contact.
And if you're looking to see when Mr. Cameron Lindsay gets his diploma, 2024. He'll be around for a while. Pele's kick is up, and it's true, right inside the left upright. We will take a 30-second timeout, and Aliquippa now starting to get comfortable. They lead the Fighting Tigers of Beaver Falls 24-7. Now this timeout on Beaver County Radio, Triblive and Facebook Live. McGee Heating and Air Conditioning in Aliquippa has been in business for nearly 60 years. Now that's experience you can count on when you call McGee Heating and Air Conditioning at 724-375-7112. They'll answer your call 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Sue Curlin and her winning team service most brands, and McGee Heating and Air Conditioning is locally owned and operated. As always, they wish their best to our local teams. McGee Heating and Air Conditioning, Main Street, Aliquippa.
Know if your team won or lost right away with a visit to the webpage scoreboard at beavercountyradio.com. As soon as the games are over, Beaver County Radio will have all the up-to-date high school football scores posted, along with game recap stories and action photos. It's Beaver County's #1 online source for high school football scores and more. The webpage scoreboard is being brought to you by Mr. Trophy, Laughlin Insurance Agency, Friendly Federal Credit Union, Beaver County Auto Group, Dr. C. Timothy Lip, the Beaver Falls Municipal Authority, and Beaver County Radio. Click beavercountyradio.com.
Well, Aliquippa starting to really get its offense in gear. They were stopped inside the 20 on their first series. They already led 6-0 on a 41-yard fumble recovery by Dorian Moreland, and now their offense, they click on a big pass that was set up. That was the previous touchdown on the 48-yard pass to Clark. and now the 14-yard run by Cameron Lindsay, and it's 24-7.
Bob, Beaver Falls simply unable to run the football. Here's their drives. First drive, 46 seconds and a fumble recovery the other direction. 154 and a punt, 146 and an interception, 12 seconds because they did score that touchdown, and then their last drive, 126 and a punt. So they've only had the football for 6 minutes and 4 seconds, and we've played almost a quarter and a half. So that's the concern. And Bob, does it take a genius of somebody of your status to figure out that if you lose Livingston and Huff, that your rushing game is going to suffer?
I'll answer it in the latter.
Yeah.
Somebody of my intellect. I'm not in the genius mode.
No, but that's that's fine too. But I think most knowledgeable observers could understand that the rushing game would have a void with the graduation of those two young men.
And of course, Aliquippa's line, very tough to run against, and Beaver Falls, though, is going to have to find a way to get it done. They're down by 17.
Thomas with the ball.
And Thomas barely gets to the 20. So Beaver Falls is going to have a long field starting from their own 21.
And we've talked about this in the broadcast before. Beaver Falls has always had a long field with its drive. Aliquippa has certainly dominated in the field position aspect of this. And for Beaver Falls, the best thing Beaver Falls could possibly do would be to chew up the rest of this second half clock with a drive featuring runs. But that is easier said than done against the beef on Aliquippa's front.
Yeah, they're giving Aliquippa too many possessions. They're just not taking enough time off the clock. Aliquippa up by 17. They have scored the last 15 points.
Brickner
and this
bobbles
time,
the ball.
a bobble in the backfield, and Brickner's going to be twisted down inside the 15-yard line. And Aliquippa not only is good, they're getting nasty, and that's not a good side for the orange and black.
Well, the first thing that you have to understand is Aliquippa's defensive linemen, these guys can move. People don't think that somebody that big can move. Naquan Crowder at 6'3 plus 345 is mobile. He gets around, and he was a very disruptive force, particularly when they see the quarterback bobble the football. That makes Aliquippa's defensive line all the more hungry.
Second down and 18, halfway through the second quarter, and Beaver Falls needs to at least get some momentum. This time it's Brickner. Looked like he had an opening. It was stopped on a shoestring tackle. He gets to the 16.
Yeah, and the Quips defensive player who made the stop has his feet up in the air as if to suggest a cramp. So I think we're going to have a little of a break for an official timeout.
All right, we'll take a minute timeout. Beaver Falls deep in its own territory and trailing 24-7 to Aliquippa. And we'll take this break on Beaver County Radio.
Navigating healthcare should be easy. Heritage Valley Medical Neighborhoods offer the care you need most in one convenient location. Access walk-in clinics, primary care, lab, diagnostic imaging, and other services at one of Heritage Valley's 7 medical neighborhoods. There's no need to travel far for quality healthcare. Find a medical neighborhood near you at heritagevalley.org. Heritage Valley and you, uniquely connected for life.
When you're a superhero, you got big responsibilities. This is the Aquaman of Beaver County, Jim Riggio from the Beaver Falls Municipal Authority. The Aquamen and Aquawomen of the Beaver Falls Municipal Authority really do look after the needs of the community, just like real superheroes. The service we provide really is super, and the dedication of our workers can only be described as heroic. We just don't always wear spandex suits and capes. This is the Aquaman of Beaver County, and I'll keep the water on for you. Click bfwater.net.
And we return here to Reeves, and the injured player getting picked up off the carpet here at Reeves Stadium. No football here tomorrow, but Geneva will be playing, and we'll have it on Beaver County Radio from Wooster, Ohio. Geneva's first game in the fall in 2 years, and they will be playing at Worcester. We'll be on the air, Jason Colangelo and myself, at 5:30. That game was moved. In case your calendar says that the game was an afternoon, it'll start right at the crack of evening, 6 o'clock beginning in Worcester, Ohio. Beaver Falls now looking at 3rd down and 14 from the 16-yard line with 5:38 to go in the half. Back to throw Brickner. Brickner going for the long ball, and it's going to be way overthrown. Great coverage. They tried to hit Thomas, and Beaver Falls is going to have to punt, and they're going to give Aliquippa a pretty good field position again, you'd have to imagine.
Yeah, no question about it. That has been the story inside of the two big things tonight. Aliquippa, with its superior field position, brought on by Beaver Falls' inability to run the football. And Bob, lately, Beaver Falls hasn't even been trying to run the football. They've essentially conceded that aspect of the game. Brickner now is the punter. He'll deliver a left-footed punt from about his own 5-yard line. And Aliquippa is playing up. They're at the 45 of BF, so they're prepared to make a move.
Their last 2 series have resulted in 3 and out. This one's high, not deep, and it's controlled at the 42 by Clark, and Sayer gets about, maybe 10, close to maybe about 15 on the return. He gets inside the 30, and Aliquippa already leaning by 17. Plenty of time, 5:17 to go, trying to extend this lead. Remember last week on WBVP and 99.3, Beaver Falls trailed Blackhawk at the half 31-7, and this game could very well go to that score if Aliquippa gets on the board again.
The bottom line is Clark with his return, that's only a net gain of 16 for Beaver Falls. So when you punt and only have 16 yards better field position than when you started, that means it's a short field for the Quips.
Well, Quentin Good, who took over the job when it appeared that Jabari Cleckley was going to be the quarterback, but he moved to Atlanta. Now the swing pass, and Lindsey trying to get some open room, gets to the 25. He'll gain about 4.
Very good run support by Beaver Falls. Mekhi Clark coming up out of the secondary. You know, if you're a defensive back and you see that screen coming, you have to come up fast, because there's certainly not going to be a downfield pass thrown, and Clark exemplifies how you want to play that play defensively.
And we have an injured Quip hobbling off the field under his own power.
Yeah, that's Lindsey.
Yeah, so Lindsey has been a vital cog in his Aliquippa attack, and we'll see about his return, but the Quips do lead by 17 and threatening to extend.
Ball on the right hash mark here for Good and offense.
Working from the eye, Good behind center. Good quick drop, and a marker comes in, so this will all go for naught.
You would think it's a pre-snap penalty on Aliquippa. They're the offensive team, but the officials are a lot closer to it than we are. But they appear to be gesturing to bring the chain gang to the stick man back, and there's what happens.
Beaver Falls needs every break it can muster. The ball goes back to the 30. It'll make it 2nd and 11.
And Bob, with 4:39 left, Aliquippa obviously has an eternity, so the Quips don't have to hurry. They're just trying to get part of that yardage back on 2nd down and 12.
Good will go from the gun. He has 3 receivers to the left, one by his lonesome to the right. And the pass over the middle, making the adjustment, but unable to haul it in. The pass was slightly behind the receiver.
Clark, again, with a great defensive hit for Beaver Falls. Clark comes out of the secondary, recognizes where the pass is going, and drills the receiver to force an incompletion. Bob, let's face it, the receiver was wide open in that situation. But with Clark delivering the hit, it winds up an incompletion.
And I think that was Sayer Clark who they were trying to get the football to. It's third down and a long 11 with 4:34 to go. It's imperative that Beaver Falls gets off the field with no further damage. They're already down by 17. This time on the carry, it's going to be a short pickup, and that was Nate Lindsay on the call. He gets a couple, brings up 4th and long for Aliquippa.
Timeout on the field. I couldn't quite hear who called it. You would think Aliquippa because they're on offense and they want to talk it over.
Yeah, I believe that's going to take the Quips down to no timeouts, even though the clock is not an issue with 4:24 to go before the break. So we'll keep it here. And the last score that we have on WNBA, Rochester now leading New Brighton 13-7. So the Lions are creeping close to the Rams on WNBA from the Fry Transportation Update Desk. Central Valley was on top of Blackhawk 24-7. Early score, North Catholic 14, Ambridge nothing. And Olsh was leading Riverside 13-0.
So the pass on 4th down is broken up by Thomas in the deep at about the 4-yard line. A good play call by Aliquippa throwing that pattern out towards the flag, but it was Beaver Falls with better defense, and there's no room for the catch to be made. So a necessary stop for the Tigers.
And that was very necessary for Beaver Falls. So they'll take over at their own 26. So even though Aliquippa leads at 24-7, they have been stopped twice inside the 30-yard line. But Beaver Falls has done little other than the big strike from Brickner to Thomas for 54 yards, the only score for Beaver Falls.
And the other scheme that remains intact is Aliquippa has not punted in his football game.
Brickner now in the gun. And they'll try to run. And once again, Aliquippa is waiting, and they'll bring the runner to the stop, maybe a yard, and that's Ashbacher with the tug. It's second down and 9 for Beaver Falls. 3:35 to go in a half. Beaver Falls with 2 timeouts, but they need to move the football before those timeouts mean anything. And we have another.
This is an official timeout.
Right. A Quip getting up, hobbling.
I think that might be Moreland.
Okay, Moreland was the one who recovered that fumble, the pass early in the game. Second play from scrimmage that went behind the line of scrimmage. It was meant for Singleton, and Moreland alertly picked it up and went 41 for the touch. 24-7. Well, now they got to stop the clock. They were letting the clock move. And now they're still moving it. So Beaver Falls is going to have to hurry.
2nd and 9 for the Tigers.
Coming down on 3 minutes left in a half, Aliquippa leads Beaver Falls 24-7. Brickner in the gun. Now he directs traffic behind him. And he rolls to the left. And he cuts it up the field. He's on the loose out to the 44-yard line. That's a first down. A rare big play by the Tigers on the run, and it's done by Brickner.
Yeah, it is a succession of play calls by Beaver Falls. Let Aliquippa believe that it was going to come to the inside of the line, and that's the first time that we saw Brickner actually take off and run the football. He's pretty much tried to pass first or hand it off, so that's a new dimension for Beaver Falls that they might incorporate into their second half game plan.
Boy, you would have loved to see these two teams tangle last year with Aliquippa's line and Huff in the backfield, but not so. The game last year was wiped out due to the pandemic. This time, broken play. Brickner's going to have to eat it. He's going to lose about 5. And Aliquippa, when you make a mistake against this defense, you're going to pay for it.
Yeah, they certainly did in cold, hard cash. They paid for it. And again, we can't stress enough. We know the dimensions of Aliquippa's players. They're huge. But what not everybody understands is that they move well, particularly laterally.
Nick Nardone holding on to his 2 timeouts, losing 5, down to 1:40. Beaver Falls seems to be in no hurry, and they're a team that's down by 17. You'd think there would be a little bit more urgency by the Fighting Tigers.
Well, they also they have 2 timeouts at their disposal also. I don't believe they've used any.
Well, they call a timeout right before the play clock expires. So they'll use their second timeout. We'll take a 30-second break. $1:22 to go and a half. It's Aliquippa 24, Beaver Falls 7. Now this on Beaver County Radio.
Being part of a credit union is like being part of a team. This is Cindy Hiladio from Friendly Federal Credit Union. Last year, we loaned out over $8 million to our members for all sorts of reasons. Friendly Federal Credit Union enables local people to do things by working together like a team. Visit Friendly Federal Credit Union in Baden or Aliquippa. Member NCUA Equal Housing Lender.
Friendly Federal Credit Union. You got a friend.
All right, after the Beaver Falls timeout, they have 1 left. We got word from Noah Hiles up here in the press box from the Beaver County Times that Parker Lyons was injured in the New Brighton-Rochester game, so J.D. Azalea takes over at quarterback for the Rams. We hope it's nothing serious. The Rams were leading New Brighton 13-7 at last check on WMBA.
And obviously Sean Keaton hopes it's nothing serious.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, he certainly needs the services of Parker Lyons. Boy, what a great season that was.
Silver medalist.
Championship game, and after not winning the game the year before, and Rochester's football team expected to do well. Don't know the seriousness of the injury. We got word from Noah up here in the box that Azalea is in. We'll check in maybe later with Mike Azadian. And this time, getting in the open, clear down to the 48-yard line for Beaver Falls, and taking it is Ashbacher. So Beaver Falls has a pulse late in the first half with 1:15, 1 timeout, and they need a touchdown to really get back in the focus.
Quite clearly the top rushing play of the night for Beaver Falls. They just had a good one with Bricker here, and that was certainly their best effort from a running back, and hopefully for BF they can build on that.
Brickner now over the middle, pass. It's caught by Thomas, and he breaks a tackle, and he's driven out of bounds at the 29-yard line. That'll stop the clock for a first down. Nice, nifty move by Thomas to buy himself about 3 extra yards.
So Beaver Falls is starting to pick things up here. They do have 1 timeout remaining, and to be in Aliquippa territory is something they have only done once tonight. They're going to try to make the most of it. For obvious reasons, it would be a huge lift for them to score in this second period.
30 seconds to go, and the clock is moving. Brickner in the gun. His team's at the Quip 28. Brickner looks. Brickner pumps. Pass caught, and the knee touches the ground. Mekhi Clark with the reception, and that'll mark it at the 25. Not much of a gain, and Beaver Falls has to extend its final time out with 19 seconds left before the break. So you got, if you use the clock right, Bruce, you might have 3 plays. That's if they have 3 plays in them.
Second down, third down, and fourth down.
Yeah, that's right, unless there's a turnover or a touchdown in the mix. But, Beaver Falls, if they use the clock right, can get 3 plays off, but they have no timeouts left. 19 seconds, not an easy chore against a good Aliquippa defense, but at least there's an opportunity. And if you're a Beaver Falls follower, then you kind of get the feeling that you need a score somehow to get your team back really in the picture.
Oh, yeah, you definitely need a score. You have to work on that. But the idea is what type of plays do you call when you have pretty much 3 shots at the end zone?
So Brickner in the gun. He has 2 receivers to both sides of the field in the spread offense. Brickner low snap, but he picks it up. Pass into the end zone. It's broken up at the last minute. They try to get it to Mekhi Clark, but an outstanding play in the secondary by Aliquippa denies the touchdown.
Yeah, Aliquippa obviously believes that Beaver Falls is going to try for the end zone. You can only imagine that Peep Short, Aliquippa's defensive coordinator, is exhorting them to stay back and guard their lanes, and they are able to do that. And they do defend. For my money, it was Donovan Walker helping out in the back. Is that how you saw it?
Yeah,
yes.
Donovan Walker, no doubt, was the one who broke it up at the 1-yard line. 15 seconds to go. Beaver Falls at the Quip 25, but no timeouts. And another low snap on the shotgun. And Brickner's in trouble. Escapes. Pass into the end zone. Touchdown! Brickner got loose, and he gets the touchdown to Mekhi Clark, and all of a sudden we have a football game up on College Hill.
Brickner somehow eluded the grasp of Aliquippa's defensive line, and because he's a left-handed passer, it's easy for him, or easier for him, to roll to his left, and he did. And Clark happened to be sitting on the ground, but that doesn't matter. You can catch the ball sitting on the ground. And that's how he eluded Aliquippa. He got behind them in that deep left corner and comes up with maybe not the corner, more like near the left hash mark, but it's 6 for BF.
74 yards on the drive after they stopped the Quips at the 26. Now Kano, and now the snap is bobbled, but taking it in
is Brickner.
No, they're not going to get there. It looked like Brickner was able to get to the corner, but the Quips show enough speed to keep Brickner out. He stopped at the 1. So with 8 seconds to go, we'll keep it here. It's Aliquippa 24 and Beaver Falls 13.
You have to salute Beaver Falls for going down the field. Bob, what'd you say that was a 74-yard drive?
Yes, it was.
Yeah, I mean, that's just not easy to do against Aliquippa late in the half. So Beaver Falls certainly has to be commended for having the fortitude to pull that off.
I think the big play was Brickner getting 13 on the run. That gave Beaver Falls a little bit of confidence. They were able to get positive yardage on the ground, something that you've alluded to all night, Bruce. It's been almost non-existent, their running game. But that play extended Beaver Falls' possession, and then they get into the end zone.
I personally like the carry by Eisenbacher, Bob. That to me, that could, because that was more like a man-to-man up the middle, straight ahead blocking.
Yeah, Ashbacher got you those tough yards.
Right. That was a more physical blast, if you will. So Beaver Falls does pick up some confidence in that situation. How long was that pass again for the touchdown? What was that?
25 yards.
25. Okay, thanks for your help.
Aliquippa on the return, and the clock is going to start with 2 seconds to go. Quips at their own 25. We'll see how fourth-year head coach Mike Warfield plays it. I would imagine the Quips will just settle for the knee. They'll get the second-half kickoff because they deferred at the outset of the game. And our halftime show will be coming up, barring a defensive foul after this snap of the football. But Beaver Falls, to its credit, going 74 yards against a Quip defense that was looking pretty strong.
Yeah,
to that point.
Yeah, that certainly Beaver Falls. That seemed to be their darkest hour, but they turned it around.
And good behind center. They'll run it, and they'll get some yardage to the 40, but a nice shoestring tackle by Singleton on the run that took him out to past the 40-yard line. That was Nate Lindsay. We've completed 2 quarters of action here in this Aliquippa Beaver Falls renewal from Reeves Stadium on a gorgeous Friday night. The score at the half, Aliquippa 24, Beaver Falls 13. We'll recap the scoring and and then join Triblive for their halftime segment. We'll do that at the other side of this timeout. Quips up by 11 as we go to the break on Beaver County Radio and Triblive along with Facebook Live.
You are listening to the 74th season of high school football on Beaver County Radio. This presentation is being brought to you by the Beaver Falls Municipal Authority, Friendly Federal Credit Union, the Heritage Valley Health System, uniquely connected for life, click heritagevalley.org, and Fry Transportation, among others. It's the number one way to get into the game, tuning in to Beaver County Radio.
How can I help my child to make positive choices?
Start with a conversation. Start making the difference.
Beaver County Parents, is your child between the ages of 10 and 14? If so, Keystone Wellness Programs is offering the Strengthening Families program in your area. This free program is designed for families to have fun together while learning ways to promote family bonding and communications. For more information about upcoming sessions near you, visit KeystoneWellnessPrograms.org. Paid for with PA taxpayer dollars.
Navigating healthcare should be easy. Heritage Valley Medical Neighborhoods offer the care you need most in one convenient location. Access walk-in clinics, primary care, lab, diagnostic imaging, and other services at one of Heritage Valley's 7 medical neighborhoods. There's no need to travel far for quality healthcare. Find a medical neighborhood near you at heritagevalley.org. Heritage Valley and you, uniquely connected for life.
In order to call the right play, you have to be able to communicate. Dental hygiene not only affects appearance and eating habits, it can also have an impact on your ability to speak clearly. Dr. C. Timothy Lip wants you to keep your teeth in the game, and he has a playbook designed for success so that you can call the right play or even call an audible. Get suited up for a win, or at least a winning smile, by joining Dr. C. Timothy Lip's team in Beaver Falls or Robinson Township. Visit lipdentistry.com.
And we return to Reeves Stadium. Beautiful night for football. And the Aliquippa Quips lead Beaver Falls 24-13 at the half. But Beaver Falls with a long drive, 74 yards, and the 25-yard catch by Mekhi Clark with 8 seconds left in the half has drawn Beaver Falls within range at 24-13. We're going to be going over the halftime scores later on after our Triblive feature at the break. Let's recap the scoring here. And it only took Aliquippa 2 plays, but not on offense. On the second play, a pass from Brickner intended for Singleton went behind the line of scrimmage, and Dorian Moreland picked it up and went 41 yards for the touchdown. And then the man they call Pele, namely Emmanuel Gaudu Manti, kicks the extra point. Actually missed the extra point because of a penalty, and the kick was wide. It was 6-0 Aliquippa. But then Manti comes back with a 30-yard field goal in the final minute of the first quarter to make it 9-0 Quips. Beaver Falls, though, strikes to get within 2. A 54-yard bomb from Brickner to Quadir Thomas 12 seconds after the field goal, and the extra point by Tyler Kane was good. It was 9-7. But then Aliquippa controlled the action much of the second period. They got a big 48-yard pass to Sayer Clark, and that set up a 1-yard run by Martinez for Aliquippa. And then the pass for 2, Aliquippa went for 2, and they found Thornton right near the end line to make it 17-7. Then the Quips get the ball back, and they go 43 yards, and the final 14 on a run by Cameron Lindsay, and the kick was good by Pele. It was 24-7. But Beaver Falls was able to stop Aliquippa, and that was huge because another Aliquippa score pretty much would have put the game out of reach. And the Tigers going 74 yards and getting a big 25-yard catch by Mekhi Clark with just 8 seconds left in the half. but then they bobbled the snap from center. Brickner did a fine job trying to turn that into 2 points, but he was stopped at the pylon inside the 1, and that did it for half number 1, 24-13 Aliquippa.
And Bob, you said at the time, when Aliquippa led 24-7, they could have easily taken it in and making it 31-7 on Beaver Falls for the second time in 2 weeks this year. But no, BF holds them, turns it around, drives 74 yards, and now it's 24-13, which is quite a different tune.
Yeah, I mean, now they at least have it's going to be a very difficult challenge. I mean, coming back from 11 at Aliquippa with 24 minutes in which to do it. But it now at least gets you thinking, hey, okay, we can make a game of this. And
Right.
Beaver Falls didn't just live on the long bomb like they did on the first score. They mixed it up. They were able to run the ball a little, pass the ball a little, and they go 74 for the touch.
That's for sure, but we should tell our listeners who might have just joined us or might have forgotten, Aliquippa does get the football in the third period because they deferred on the opening kickoff.
Right. All right, we're going to take a 1-minute timeout, and then we're going to go straight into the Triblive segment, which is a new feature this year on Beaver County Radio. Don Rebel and his staff will bring you that segment after this 1-minute timeout. We'll come back after the segment and give you halftime scores from around the area. Right here, it's Aliquippa 24, Beaver Falls 13. The Triblive feature coming up in a minute on Beaver County Radio and Triblive Sports.
The law firm of Luxembourg, Garbett, Kelly, and George, keeping promises for over 80 years. Attorney Chuck Garbett.
What we tell them, number one, they cannot guarantee the result. All we can guarantee is the effort and an honest evaluation. Not every case goes to court. Most of them settle. There's a reason most of our cases settle out of court, and that's because over the years, the insurance companies have realized that when we're involved in a case, we do prepare that case as if it will go to trial, and we aren't afraid to take a case to trial. The insurance company keeps a book on the lawyers. There's a lot of lawyers out there that yell and scream and they pound their chest and we're going to do this and we're going to do that. But they haven't seen an inside of a courtroom maybe in 30 to 40 years. And the insurance industry knows that. Well, with us, it's a little different.
For your free consultation from the law firm of Luxembourg, Garbett, Kelly, and George, call 724-658-8535 or visit them online at lgkg.com.
Halftime show on the Triblive High School Sports Network from the Excella Health Mobile Studios. We welcome you, Don Rebel, Chris Harlan. Our get-together sponsored by SE Tire and Export Tire, your local tire experts. They work hard to earn your business. They have your tire in stock and can install it today. All the best brands at the best tire prices. SE Tire, Route 51, Bell Vernon. Export Tire, Old William Penn Highway in Export. Shop for tires online and check out their Google reviews. We thank them for sponsoring our halftime show. It's a tradition. Week 1, we talk about the teams to watch. A lot of people, maybe they tuned in week 0. A lot of people did. Hopefully more here in week 1 as we are starting to get our footing for the 2021 high school football season around the WPIAL, and they want to know, Chris Harlan, who the teams are to watch. So why don't we start in 6A? There's not a whole lot of teams in 6A, so this should be rather easy.
To me, I think it's surprising that Mount Lebanon hasn't won a WPL title since 2000. 21 years now since they've won. They haven't even been there since then. I think this year it could be their year. I mean, you're looking at a group here, a really good offensive trio and Joey Daniels, Alex Texa, Eli Heidenreich, and a coach in Bob Palka who kind of knows how to win some titles. He won 8 of them at West Allegheny. He's now in year 3 at Mount Lebanon, and it looks like the pieces might be coming together. I mean, they had a real good start last week against Bethel Park, and I think, it's possible that that 21 years might not get to 22 before Mount Lebanon gets back to a championship. But also in 6A, there's still the regulars, Central Catholic, North Allegheny, don't count out the Seneca Valley. There's still some depth there. as we get down the stretch late in the season to see who will be in the run for that title.
Yeah, they played Mount Lebanon in the final high school football game at Three River Stadium back in 2000. All right, let's move on to 5A, which has been, since the expansion to 6 classifications, probably the most competitive of the classes.
Yeah, and a team here to watch is interesting is Pine Richland. I think people have been watching them all summer, really. Ever since head coach Eric Kasparovich got ousted back in April, there's been a lot of uncertainty about that program. You know, they're defending WPL champs, defending state champs. But besides having a whole new coaching staff, I think they also graduated like 17 seniors who were starters. So besides the coaches, this was going to be a new team, a new season. And here they go, you know, into a season, and there's kind of a chip on their shoulder talking to those guys to see what they can do this year. But definitely lots of eyes on Pine Richland as they head into the year. But also Gateway. They're a number 1 ranked team in 5A. And they're also a new team, graduated a lot of guys. But they've got a couple of guys that transferred in too, and Brad Birch and Brett Birch, brothers who came in from Jeanette, a quarterback and wide receiver. A combination was really good. Also had a really good start last week in week 0. So Gateway right there at the top in 5A, and they're going to be tough to beat, I think. But then again, some regular names that we see. Penn Trafford, they've got a Wisconsin recruit in Cade Yacomelli. Penn Hills is there. I think the Allegheny 6 conference is going to be very tight. And North Hills and Moon both had good wins last week that I think kind of ups them into the conversation now in 5A.
Yeah, both were very impressive in week 0 wins, both of them on the road. All right, how about Class 4A?
Another team that hasn't won a title in a while, Bell Vernon. Hasn't won a title since 1995. Again, it looks like, you know, kind of like Mount Lebanon, that pieces might be coming together for them this year. You know, first off, they've got a senior quarterback, defensive back in Devin Whitlock. You know, he said this summer when I talked to him that, you know, his Leopards have been kicking on the door for years to try to get in, win a title. He felt like maybe this is the year that door falls over and they get inside and maybe win a championship. They've got a really good sophomore in Quentin Martin, another guy. He's a running back receiver combination who has all kinds of major college offers. So I think him with Whitlock, who's a 1,000-yard rusher, you're going to see a pretty good Bell Vernon team maybe make a run this year. But again, standing in their way in the same conference, Jefferson. I mean, they're always there. They've been in the championship game 6 years in a row. They've won 5 of the last 6 years. And with Bill Chilpack, you know, that's it. And Bell Vernon kind of has to show that they can get past that hurdle. But also in 4A, I mean, is Aliquippa. They're an interesting story. A single A team having to play up to 4A. Whether that is fair or not, that's the PWA rule under their competitive balance. But at least one more season, little Aliquippa has to play against the 4As, and they're pretty good.
Made it to the finals.
They can play with anybody.
Yep, made it to the title game a year ago. 3A, 2A, 1A. When the halftime show, sponsored by SC Tire and Export Tire, continues on the Triblive High School Sports Network.
Need new tires in a hurry? SC Tire has your size tire in stock. Install today. Before you hit the open road, see the tire experts at SC Tire. We do tires and we do them right. Before you hit the open road, see the tire experts at Export Tire. We do tires and we do them right. If it has wheels, we have the tires. Export Tire, your commercial tire headquarters.
Halftime show continues on the Triblive High School Sports Network with Chris Arlen. I'm Don Rebel. Teams to watch so far, the top 3 classifications. There have been various teams. We get to 3A. There's one team and then a pretty large chasm before you start talking about others.
Yeah, I feel like I could have used my notes from last year to have this discussion. It's Central Valley. I mean, the question last year and this year, can anybody beat Central Valley in 3A? A year ago, nobody could. Nobody in the state could. They rolled their way to the finals. They won their first state championship, and they're back. Look, last week, they won 62-0 over Knock. They're a powerhouse again. They graduated a bunch of stuff. We got a bunch of players, but they're good. I think they're going to be right there again. But when you ask who's next, I mean, that's the next group. North Catholic, Avonworth, maybe Elizabeth Forward. Will one of them be able to step up and be waiting for Central Valley at Heinz Field? That'll be the question as we move forward.
Class with the most teams is Class 2A. 16 teams will make it into the playoffs. Who are some of the teams to watch in 2A, Christopher?
I think one of the teams that's interesting is Stowe Rocks. They were in the finals last year. They lost to Beaver Falls, but they bring pretty much everything back. They got a ton of skill back. And you look, I mean, they've got so much skill that they've got a junior in Josh Jenkins, who's a wide receiver quarterback. I mean, he's their quarterback. Sometimes they put him out at wide receiver because they've got another guy who can play quarterback. And he caught touchdown passes in week 0. So they have an abundance of talents. Laura Johnson, their coach, kind of has them moving in that direction. I don't think anyone would be surprised to see them in the championship this year. But when you look beyond them, Beaver Falls is still there. They were the champions last year. Sarah Catholic, they're hunting for their first title since 2007. So, like you said, it's a big classification, a lot of teams, and it'll be a good tournament once you get there.
All right, finally, Class A, Jeanette, we thought after they beat Clareton last year that they might be starting a little bit of a championship run. Probably won't be the case with all the defections. They're going to, in all likelihood, struggle, but still, Jeanette is always Jeanette, and they will compete. So that opens the door, and the team they beat in the finals is probably where you start.
Yeah, and that's it. I mean, you look at that last year's matchup, Clareton, Jeanette, you could pencil them in so many times. Clareton, they've been there they're looking for their 6th time in 8 years, trying to get back to a championship game. When you look at to see who might be there to face them, maybe a Rochester, you look at a California, maybe a Springdale or Shenango. With Jeanette kind of taking that step back, I think that opens that window up to one of the schools to maybe get to the finals. But there's a long way between now and then. We'll see how they do all season long. Definitely teams to watch.
Yeah, and the horn sounds, thus ending this edition of the halftime show. Sponsored by SE Tire and Export Tire, your local tire experts. They work hard to earn your business. They have your size tire in stock, installed today. All the best brands at the best tire prices. SE Tire, Route 51, Bell Vernon. Export Tire, Old William Penn Highway in Export. Shop for tires online and check out their Google reviews. Teams of the week this week. Chris and I next week will take a look at some of the top players around the WPIL to watch in the 2021 season. Enjoy the second half of the game you are tuned into here on the Triblive High School Sports Network.
All right, thanks to Don Rebel and Chris Harlan of Triblive for that halftime segment. We do it every halftime on Beaver County Radio. We're going to take a 1-minute timeout. We'll get you some halftime scores. Some games have gone to the 3rd, even the 4th. Right here, it's Aliquippa 24, Beaver Falls 13, back in 60 on Beaver County Radio, Facebook Live, and Triblive.
It's the big game of the week, and you've got the best seat in the house. Play-by-play coverage on Beaver County Radio. Today's game is provided in part by Medic Rescue, Keystone Wellness Programs, click KeystoneWellnessPrograms.org, Drug-Free Aliquippa, the law firm of Luxembourg, Garrett, Kelly & George, LGKG, and the Lockwood Insurance Agency, among others, right here on Beaver County Radio.
Know if your team won or lost right away with a visit to the webpage scoreboard at beavercountyradio.com. As soon as the games are over, Beaver County Radio will have all the up-to-date high school football scores posted, along with game recap stories and action photos. It's Beaver County's #1 online source for high school football scores and more. The webpage scoreboard is being brought to you by Mr. Trophy, Lockland Insurance Agency, Friendly Federal Credit Union, Beaver County Auto Group, Dr. C. Timothy Lip, the Beaver Falls Municipal Authority, and Beaver County Radio. Click beavercountyradio.com.
Listening to live sports on the radio in Beaver County is a tradition. This is Craig Fontana from Moon Township Ford, and I ought to know. My dad, Bill Fontana, has called games for over 50 years. Beaver County people know a good call when they hear one, and the best call you can make is to buy your next new or used vehicle at Moon Township Ford. Click moontownshipford.net or visit Moon Township Ford on University Boulevard.
Falcone's Moon Township Ford, where friends send friends.
I just love my Tyler Mountain Waterman.
That's something I hear all the time. This is Stefan Sasek from Tri-State Waters. I'm the guy that is out and about delivering that Tyler Mountain 100% natural spring water. I'm everywhere from New Brighton to Old Economy. Tri-State Waters delivers, and I'm the one driving the truck. From Beaver to Raccoon Township, I'm the waterman they love and the waterman that delivers. We even go to Poland, well, Ohio that is. If you need home or office delivery, call today and ask for Stefan, 724-774-4644.
All right, returning for our halftime show, and Aliquippa leading Beaver Falls here 24-13 on College Hill. Now, the last score that we had on WNBA in the third quarter, New Brighton leading Rochester 14-13. The Rams were on top 13-0. And then we understand that Parker Lyons was injured, the starting quarterback for Rochester. Don't know the extent of the injury. Last score we had, Central Valley 24, Blackhawks 7. North Catholic all over Ambridge 41-0. Western Beaver leading Freedom 6-3. Don't know if they're all field goals or if Western missed an extra point. Riverside has fought back from 13-0 down to tie Olsh at 13 all in the fourth quarter. Early score, Neshannock 7, Southside 0. Union was on top of Elwood City 27-0. Moon 14, Montour 6. Newcastle 25, Quaker Valley 0. Mohawk 14, Cornell 7. West Allegheny 21, Trinity 14. Pirates lost to the Cubs 6-5. And we'll try to get you more updates. Bruce, going into the second half, Aliquippa is going to get the ball. Beaver Falls at least has a little bit of momentum, though they're still down by 11.
Right. For Beaver Falls, the fact that they were able to rush the ball late in the second quarter, we'll see if that is if that is just something that happened, if maybe Aliquippa wore down, or if Beaver Falls has made an adjustment. The fact of the matter is, though, when you count net rushing yardage, Bob Barrickman, Beaver Falls has 10 yards rushing at the half, according to Keith Barnes of the Post-Gazette.
Wow. Okay. Not a heck of a lot of yardage
that's
there.
counting the sacks in there. Overall net rushing.
Okay, last check, we just got an update. New Brighton still leading Rochester 14-13. Of course, all of these games are non-conference, but Rochester playing its first game, just as is Aliquippa. Tomorrow, we got Geneva at Worcester in the non-conference game. And that airtime is 5:30 with Jason Colangelo and myself. And right here, Aliquippa leading 24-13. They got a 41-yard fumble recovery for a touchdown by Dorian Moreland just 46 seconds into the game. They missed the extra point. It was 6-0. And then Pele Manti gets a 30-yard field goal. 46 seconds left in the first quarter. It was 9-0. Quadir Thomas catches a 54-yard strike from Jaron Brickner just 12 seconds later, and then Tyler Kane kicked the extra point. It was 9-7. But the Quips got the next two touchdowns. A 1-yard run by Martinez. That was set up after a 48-yard catch by Syer Clark from the quarterback Quentin Good. And then Thornton caught a pass just inside the boundary line, the back line of the end zone.
Sitting down.
And catches it, makes it 17-7. And then Cameron Lindsay scores from 14 yards out with 6:55 to go in the half. And the kick was good, 24-7. And then it looked like they were on their way for another score, but Beaver Falls held at the 26-yard line.
Yeah, that was Clark, I believe, with a good defensive play for BF in the secondary.
And then it was Clark who scored on a 25-yard catch with just 8 seconds to go before the half. The hold was bobbled on the extra point. Brickner tried to get into the end zone, but was stopped a yard shy. That's where we are, 24-13. And both teams are out on the field. I don't think we need that 3 extra minutes that we've been known to see in the past. I hope not.
Yeah, well, No, but that already took place. That already happened. That already happened. So the bottom line is as we mentioned, Aliquippa gets the football because they won the opening toss in deferred. So in that sense, the Quips, who are moving, as you like to say, to the north end, towards the bulk of Geneva's campus, or they're kicking that and they're heading that way. Beaver Falls will be heading, as you like to say, towards downtown Beaver Falls, towards the track.
Well, how about towards Beaver County Radio?
That's even better yet.
But Aliquippa
located
will get
right
it
on
first.
the avenue. Yeah, that's for sure.
So the Quips ready to receive, leading 24-13. Of course, after we announce our CCBC players of the game, we'll have the Falcones Moon Township Ford wrap-up show to 11, and then Dawn Rebel checks back in with the Triblive scoreboard show till midnight.
And certainly let's take this opportunity for people to get out there and remember that the phone number is 724-843-1888. Feel free to give us a call.
And there's another option.
Yeah, that's true.
774-1888. Kickoff short and fielded, but good special teams play by Aliquippa and Singleton, and the Quips will start from their own 33.
Yeah, Beaver Falls is Singleton getting down there on kick coverage, and we've talked before about Aliquippa having solid field position throughout. This time's a fairly good drive start at their own 33, and we'll see how the Quips handle it.
Once again, thanks to our producer back at the studio, Malik Garrett. Want to thank the camera guys, Gavin Reese and Rick Plasmeyer, and the guy who runs the controls here on Facebook Live, Curtis Walsh. Start of the second half, and Quentin Good, the sophomore, in the pistol formation. He has a running back to his right, and now they're going to try the end around, and they get, decent yardage. Give them a gain of 5 to the 38. It's 2nd and 5.
Yeah, I believe that I believe that Lindsey is back in the game. I'm pretty sure that was him carrying the football. We'll take a closer look at that. Cameron, I believe that was him with the pigskin.
And Deshaun Anderson of Beaver Falls in on the stop, and he gets shaken up, but I think he's going to be all right. He steps out for a play. Aliquippa 2nd down and 5 from their 38-yard line. And the delayed handoff, and that's going to be a first down. Easy. The hole was broken for the likes of Cameron Lindsey, and he's got a first down of the 49.
Yeah, Lindsey comes out with renewed effort here in the second half, and he's able, again, the key in this game, Aliquippa has been able to run up the middle repeatedly. Beaver Falls was able to only run up the middle on one play that we noticed. So that's where Aliquippa holds the edge in this game.
Good in the gun. Marker down. Would have to believe it'll be against the red and black of Aliquippa. And it will be. So a procedure call apparently, and that'll move the Quips back to their 44.
And again, this is what coaches really don't want to see happen, but that's all part of the first week of football. You would like to believe that you get this stuff out of your system early in the year in the conference part of your schedule.
So it's 1st and 15 for the Quips, 10:25 to go, third quarter from Reeves Stadium. Good, and now the handoff, and this isn't going to go anywhere. The Tigers were not fooled at all.
Tyler Kane comes up from his defensive end position to make the stop, but he's going to what'd you say that is? Minus, wow.
About 4.
Yeah.
Back to the 40. And they need to get to the 41, so we'll call it 2nd and 19 for Aliquippa.
Quite clearly, Beaver Falls' defensive backs will be well off the football. including Singleton and Clark and Thomas.
They send 2 receivers to both sides, and Good back to throw. Good, and the pass is in the flat, and it's incomplete. Wouldn't have gained much anyway, and they tried to get the ball into the hands of Cameron Lindsay, who comes up gimpy somewhat. He'll be okay. It'll be 3rd and 19 for Aliquippa.
Beaver Falls read it well, though. They had their defensive backs covering the wideouts. You mentioned double wides on either side. Those guys were smothered. Aliquippa tried to go inside, and the screen pass did not work. It was incomplete, and you're right. It wouldn't have gained much had it been caught.
So Beaver Falls has a chance to get its defense off the field, down by 11. 9:32 to go in the third quarter. Good looking. Good. And on the fly pattern, it is that caught?
Yes.
My goodness, what a catch. Unbelievable, and the coverage was outstanding, and it's hauled in by Donovan Walker. What a catch by Walker down at the 35 of Beaver Falls.
Well, and again, Walker, he's the offensive player. He knows where it's going. He's listed at 6 feet 1/2 of an inch and 180 pounds, but when you're the wide out, you know where the ball's going, so you can go out and get it, which he did. Great individual tackle by Beaver Falls defensively right there. As in run support, it's Raul Bricks. We've talked about him before. He's only a 10th grader and inside linebacker, but he comes up and makes the play unassisted to stop Aliquippa.
Now on first down, they only get a yard on the carry, so the Quips, after converting on 3rd and 19, on the long catch by Donovan Walker. This time trying to get to the edge and getting a couple when it seemed like they weren't going to get any, but a nice tackle made by Anthony Kuzar of Beaver Falls. So now the Quips are looking at 3rd down and 7.
Yeah, that was Nate Lindsay. They tried to bounce him out to the right side. But you're right, Beaver Falls had a very good presence in the line of scrimmage. And one of the big guys, Naquan Crowder, that we've talked about him, the offensive tackle and defensive nose guard, he hobbles off the field rather gingerly. So we'll see how long he remains out for Aliquippa.
Tom Hayes, Texas, a score from Central Valley in a game that wasn't supposed to be, but it turned out to be with COVID-related injuries and whatnot. Central Valley leads Blackhawk after 3, 44-14. The Warriors started off a little slow. Blackhawk hung in there, but now Central Valley has turned it up a notch. Boy, is that going to be a great one next Friday night on WNBA. Central Valley at Aliquippa.
Offsetting penalties here against Beaver Falls and Aliquippa negate each other, so that continues to make it 3rd and 7 for Aliquippa.
And they'll celebrate New Brighton's trip to the WPIL championship game in 1980 next Friday night against Southside. Now rolling out, and the pass into the end zone. It's caught. Touchdown. Oh, my goodness. Zaire Clark, I believe. They might get him for taunting, but it's a touchdown for the Quips.
Yeah, he got behind Beaver Falls' coverage deep, and just inside the pylons able to make a reception. We'll see how the officials handle that, but for now, it's 6 points Aliquippa, no question.
And was that Zaire Clark? I believe it was, but we'll have to double check.
We'll get official word and see how that plays out.
A 45-yard catch for the touchdown, and the Quips get the score with 8:13 to go in the third quarter. And that caps a 67-yard march for the visitors. Well, apparently they waved off any infraction. It's going to be an extra point. And the touchdown catch, Bruce says it was Tajir Thornton on the catch for the touchdown. 45-yard catch. And now Pele for the extra point. Manti, his kick is high, and his kick is good. And we have a break in the action here at Reeves. Aliquippa converted on a 3rd and 19, and then they had a 3rd and long, and they get the catch by Thornton into the end zone, and the Quips are back on top, 31-13, and we will take this time out for a minute here on Beaver County Radio and Facebook Live.
In sports broadcasts, the pregame show will set the stage for the upcoming game coverage. In life, a pre-career start at the Beaver County Career and Technology Center can set your high school student for life. This is Laura Delvecchio, the Assistant Administrative Director at the Beaver County Career and Technology Center, with more great news. There is still availability for this school year in some of our top-earning career training programs like masonry, machine tool technology, collision repair, and greenhouse and landscaping. But you must act now. Have your child or grandchild see their school counselor today. Hurry! Classroom space is limited, and these prime opportunities are on a first-come, first-served basis. Let the Beaver County CTC open doors for you in the game of life. Click bcctc.org.
See them standing down there? Yeah, that's the whole point.
All right. Are we back? We return, and Bruce just found out there was a penalty. They decide to assess it on the kickoff, and they will have to kick from the 25 because they got Thornton for taunting after the touchdown. In the meantime, update on WNBA from the Fry Transportation Instant Update Desk. Rochester now has grabbed the lead 21-20 over New Brighton. That's a dandy on WNBA with Micah Zadian and Jason Colangelo. This one needs a big Beaver Falls comeback.
Yeah, and apparently Riverside is hanging tough against Our Lady of the Sacred Heart.
All right.
Tied at 13.
I guess there was a turnover. Olsh had a chance to take it in.
Yeah.
Rick Plasmeyer, he's doing camera duty. He's getting us updates.
Well, this is the 21st century is the age of multimedia.
You know what? Rick, have some popcorn. You've been doing a heck of a job tonight.
Yeah, we got a whole truckload of it.
Thanks to Rick.
Yeah, no doubt. No question about it. Oh, my. Yeah, so yeah, it's multimedia. That's what we all do around here. Everybody's multitasking, but Rick doing a good job of it, and we do have several it's good to see when you have non-conference games, to see them tense and see them interesting and close. But Aliquippa, Pele is going to have to come up with one of his better boots here.
Yeah, from
which
the
he
25.
does actually.
And it's going to, it was bobbled, and now it's picked up at the 26, and they don't get anywhere. That was on the return for Beaver Falls was Isaiah Ashbacher, but boy, for having to kick 15 yards further downfield and you stop Beaver Falls at the 26, that was just a good piece of special teams play.
Right, Bob. Use simple arithmetic. Your mind, that's like Beaver Falls starting at its own 11 when you take the 15 yards out. So quite clearly, good coverage by Aliquippa, and Pele did come up with a boot.
This is Beaver Falls' fourth straight starting point, and not beyond the 26. They got one touchdown, but field position has not been friendly as of late, or much of this game, for the Fighting Tigers. They're down by 18. And the give, and that goes to Ashbacher, and Ashbacher gets to about the 30. We'll see if they give him the touch. Actually, they give him the 31 again.
Credit Beaver Falls for trying to run the middle. But, Bob, the one thing we did talk about is we talked about Crowder limping off the field. I'm trying to see if he's out there now. It's pretty obvious because he's a big guy. I believe he is. He's back in there at nose tackle. So let's see if his range or his mobility has been shortened up by that limping spell that he had.
In the gun, it's Brickner. Brickner looks. Brickner over the middle, and it's going to be just off the hand. A late hit. Believe me, it wasn't late, meaning it's a penalty. It was just a good lick right at the end by Nate Lindsay to force the ball out of the hands of Mekhi Clark.
Yeah, and again, that's a tough play for Clark to try to make, because whether you hear footsteps or not, the footsteps arrived, and that is a vicious hit by Lindsay, and Clark is just separated from the football.
3rd and 5, Beaver Falls. 7:19 to go in the third quarter. Aliquippa 31, Beaver Falls 13.
How about Kane again, Bob? They led the game off with him, but I don't believe they've targeted Tyler Kane since.
And the quick drop pass caught, and Singleton's on the loose. He's at the 40.
It's Kane.
It is. You're right. Tyler Kane, the tight end. You called for it. Now he goes down. He'll might be slow getting up off the turf, but it's a first down. Beaver Falls inside the Aliquippa 30-yard line. Bruce, you look like a genius. And Kane hobbling might
favoring
probably
the left ankle.
He'll go off the field for at least a play. But boy, what a play for Beaver Falls down to the 24-yard line.
It was the exact same play that we saw on the first snap of the game for Beaver Falls. And what they did was they sent Kane right down the middle, and he was absolutely wide open on the first play of the game, and he was absolutely wide open on this play. It's just on this play there was more of a seam in which to head down the field, which he took the most of. Only Aliquippa's speed could save the touchdown.
45 yards in all on the catch by Tyler Kane. This time on the handoff, and that'll go to Ashbacher, and he might have gotten a yard, if that.
The same old story is Crowder and company plug the middle. Beaver Falls is just unable to move Crowder. There's no other way to say it.
And injury timeout for
Yeah, they're limping
Beaver
on both
Falls.
sides of the ball. Aliquippa's got a defensive lineman injured. To my money, it was jersey number 68, which is Maurice Carey, I believe. Again, it's hard to see these jerseys, but they definitely lost their left defensive tackle on the play.
It's going to be 2nd down and 10 for the Fighting Tigers at the Quip 24-yard line. 6:20 left in the third quarter. Brickner, the junior quarterback. Brickner and the option. Brickner is able to break a tackle but gets little. Down to about the 23. We'll give him a gain of 2. It'll be 3rd down, and they're going to need about 6.
Right. Once Aliquippa makes that big hit and stands up Beaver Falls' offensive line, that leaves Brickner having to mend for himself as he heads to the right. And Aliquippa's D-backs and linebackers have enough speed to get to the outside to stop it.
3rd and 7, Beaver Falls. 5:40 to go in the third quarter.
Bob, typically when the ball's on the right hash mark, it's the short side of the field, but not for Beaver Falls because they have a left-handed quarterback.
Fighting Tigers, they held 2 plays.
Did Aliquippa move, though? That's the key question.
I don't know. There might have been a procedure call against Beaver Falls. It looked like the running back jumped a little early.
Yeah, let
And it is.
Yeah, the official's right on top of it. So Aliquippa astutely jumping and moving once they see a shift by BF.
Jack Roy Brandyburg jumped a little soon. Now that makes it more difficult for the white jerseys. Beaver Falls wearing their white jerseys tonight. I don't know if this is just for this one night only or if it's going to be a trend this season.
Maybe tonight was a whiteout.
Overtime, Riverside and Olsh. Curtis, do you remember you were here last week? Did Beaver Falls wear their white uniforms or their dark, black or orange? Dark? Okay. Curtis confirms.
Another pre-snap penalty. This is BF again.
All right, so Beaver Falls is digging a hole. And this is not good. It moves the ball back to the 32. They got to go to the 15 to move the sticks.
And they're down 18, 31-13. So they have to adjust. We're down to we're at 5:01 to play third period. So BF has to make the most of its opportunities. And they were knocking on the door at the 25, as you describe it, Bob, but that's not the case now.
Spread offense for BF. Brickner, his pass. It's caught by Kane. Kane breaks the tackle. 15 down to the 10-yard line. It's first and goal, Beaver Falls.
Yeah, Kane, again, comes in. He's a big target, but Brickner drops a dime right in his breadbasket. Kane is a big guy. He lumbers down the field and separates himself from one tackle and gets right down into first and goal, as you describe it. Kane listed at 6'2", 220.
A pickup of 20 on the pass to Kane, and Kane made it work after the catch. He buys himself another 10 yards. And now we have...
Well, Crowder, they're taking back to Crowder again.
And Mike Warfield, the head coach, coming out to take a look, and he's going to be assisting Crowder off of the field. So we have a brief timeout. By the way, that Riverside Olsh game, first game for new head coach Fran Ramsden of Riverside, taking over for Ron Shiro, who steps aside for the second time. And I'm guessing Ron probably is done with coaching, but you never know. You never know.
He can't. I think he's going to come back, Bob, to be honest with you. I look for him again in 2046 to coach his great-grandson. He came back a couple years ago to coach his grandson, Nate. So when Nate has a kid playing Riverside in the 2040s, that's when we'll see Ron on the sideline again.
All right. Well, so Ron must have a good doctor.
I got faith in him. Yeah, I got a lot of faith in the guy.
Good. All right.
Shotgun.
This time it's Brickner. Brickner now rolls left. He's going to try to get to the edge. Brickner, though, he'll get to about the 7. It'll be second and goal after the gain of 2.
Bob, what do you think? I think that was a miscommunication. I think if he was going to run, he would have taken right off. I think it was a failed handoff attempt, and Brickner tried to make the most of it.
Yeah, that did not look clean from up here, Bruce. I'm with you all the way. But to his credit, though, Brickner does get 3 down to the 6.
Yeah, that wasn't easy to do. Again, it's helpful for Brickner because obviously it doesn't matter too much as a runner, but he still likes going to his left because he always has the ability to throw if something takes place.
Beaver Falls has shown the ability to move the ball, even though their running game hasn't really arrived tonight, but they have been making plays. And the big one by Kane that set up the first and goal. And this time, though, on the carry, and there's nothing much there for Ashbacher. He gets nothing. It's third and goal from the 7.
No, and with Crowder out, it looks like they put Therese Jones in there to fill up space, and he does a good job of that. Jersey number 72 for Aliquippa. It's unbelievable, Bob. How many other teams can take out a 345-pound nose tackle and put one in at 365?
Wow.
And I'm counting in the NFL, too. You know, how many teams can do that?
Well, Aliquippa has turned out some giants through the years, and not just the ones with big size. 2 Hall of Famers in Ty Law and Mike Dick, and Darrell Reeves is on the docket maybe in a couple years. Late pitch goes to Ashbacher. He takes it into the end zone for Beaver Falls, and it's gotten closer here on College Hill.
Credit Beaver Falls, Bob. We've talked about it before. These are what are called character drives, and they're showing quite a bit of it because everybody's counting them out. These are long drives. They're getting bad field position, but they're somehow making the most of it. That drive took 5 minutes and 38 seconds, and it winds up in a score.
45-yard reception to Tyler Kane, and then Kane gets a big catch to the 9 for the first and goal, and then the 7-yard run on third down by Ashbacher, and they have creeped to within 12, and the extra point is coming.
Let's see if BF this is the point where you might as well just kick the football. Kane is out there, but this looks like, no, Kane is at tight end. They are not going to kick the football.
Well, apparently they feel that being down 10 means a lot more than being down 11. I guess that's my only way of analyzing it. Rolling out is Brickner, his pass, and it's going to be
incomplete. Try to get
away.
Thomas.
And so they don't get the 2, and now they're down by 12. We'll take a minute timeout from Reeves. 2:35 to go, quarter number 3. It's Aliquippa 31, Beaver Falls 19 here on Beaver County Radio, WBVP 99.3 FM, and Facebook and Triblive. Hi, this is Bob Barrickman here for Fry Transportation. When it comes to school buses in Beaver County, it sure is hard not to notice the shiny Fry Transportation fleet. Fry Transportation has been a local family-owned Beaver County business for over 30 years. As any successful football team must be dependable and reliable, these same qualities have made Fry Transportation a champion operation. Best wishes to all local teams and safe travels to the gridirons this season. From your friends at Fry Transportation. And we return here to College Hill. And you got to give this Beaver Falls team credit. Twice now they have answered Aliquippa touchdowns with scores of their own, and it's a 12-point game with 14 and a half minutes to go.
Oh, yeah, no question. Beaver Falls really they've impressed me. We've seen several teams pack in their tents against Aliquippa when they're faced with these long drive starts, but Beaver Falls has come up with 2 70-plus yard drives and made things interesting, but obviously, Bob, the biggest thing for BF now is they got to come up with a stop. But as we've seen in our coverage of football, when teams have long touchdown drives, that pick gives them an emotional lift. So if Beaver Falls can respond and stop Aliquippa, then so be it as we get late in period number 3.
Aliquippa will get their hands on the football. Beaver Falls, 2 consecutive teams in 4A that the Tigers are meeting. One of them because the enrollment says so in Blackhawk, the other because of a competition formula, an Aliquippa club that's playing up in 3 classes, but a team that's expected to contend for another title. And we are seeing what has turned out to be a good one here at Reeves, and the short kickoff at the 15-yard line for the Quips and turning it up the field, and a nice return of 20 yards to the 35 goes Aliquippa. And that is Syer Clark on the return, and we have a Quip shaken up 10 yards backfield.
We've seen our share of players escorted off the field tonight, no question. That's just a measure of the overall intensity of this contest. And, Bob, we said this 2 hours ago. Don't tell the fans in red and the fans in orange that this is a non-conference game. That won't wash.
No, there's too much pride on these
and
two
don't tell
teams.
the players either.
Last check on WMBA, Rochester leading New Brighton 21-20 at Rochester Stadium. We got a report earlier in this game that Parker Lyons left the game due to an injury. J.D. Azalea inserted in, but Rochester able to get the lead over New Brighton.
It seems like that's Thornton who's generally heading towards the sideline. And so hopefully that young man will get back on the pitch before long.
So the Quips will begin from their own 36 with 2:28 to convert. And Our Lady of the Sacred Heart wins it in overtime, 20-13. Thanks, Rick Plasmeyer. Tough overtime loss for new coach Fran Ramsden of Riverside, but they did erase a 13-point deficit, but they fall shy in overtime, and the Chargers of Dan Bradley are 1-0.
But, Bob, how about this?
Or 2-0, I guess.
Yeah, but, Bob, how about this, though? What does that tell you? That tells you that they kicked an extra point in that game, too.
Yeah.
It's a 7-point overtime margin, so we'll have to figure out what's up with...
Old scored, but Old scored. They had to kick their extra point. That was probably the first score, and because Riverside did not get a touchdown on its end. That's what Rick's telling us. This time on first down, and it's going to be another first down for Aliquippa.
But the minute Olsh makes it 19-13, the game should end.
No, because the Riverside still gets the ball.
Oh, okay, so Olsh had it first.
Yes, it's not the first team that scores in overtime.
Oh, I understand. Okay. I didn't realize that Riverside was up second, as we like to say. Yeah, you got to kick it there and preserve your margin.
Oh, yeah, and they did, and Riverside does not get a score, and that's the game. 2013, Our Lady of the Sacred Heart wins it. Aliquippa with 10 yards on the first down, and then they lose, it was actually a 9-yard game. Loose football! It's up for grabs, and who's going to get it?
I think
apparently
comes up with it.
The Quips get it, and Beaver Falls can only kick themselves. That ball was in great view on the carpet, and Aliquippa is able to pounce on it, and they get a first down at the 47.
I think, and Aliquippa has yet another player down. I think that was Braylon Wilcox, the center for Aliquippa, coming up with Ed Pigskin, jersey 53.
Aliquippa has not turned the ball over in this game, but Beaver Falls had an opportunity to get the Pigskin there, and even the previous time that Aliquippa coughed it up.
This time it's Jason McBride who's down, and again, McBride weighs 3 1/4. He's a hard guy to lift up, but they do. You can see jersey 56 is limping off the field. And so Aliquippa has seen some linemen stagger off the field. The long term we can't predict, but for now they have lost quite a bit of beef in this football game.
Yeah, Aliquippa may be showing signs of playing its first game. Beaver Falls has one under its belt.
Crowder is back on the field for Aliquippa, so he is one who has been hobbling around. But now we'll have to keep an eye on McBride.
So it's 1st and 10 for Aliquippa at the Tiger 47. Delay, give, and it's Cameron Lindsay, and he rips off about 5 to the 42.
And Bob, we talk about the battle of first down. You're trying to get 5 yards or more, and that's what Aliquippa has seemed to do all night. It just seems that they always have that favorable pickup on first down, and that makes the whole situation go better on the successive downs.
Down to 1:20 left in the third quarter. Aliquippa leads at 31-19. Beaver Falls had a chance on a potential turnover, but Aliquippa finds a way to recover it, and now they have a 2nd down and 5 situation. Out of the eye comes Aliquippa, good, and to the tailback, and that's going to be another Aliquippa first down, and that is Lindsay again. That's Cameron Lindsay. We also have seen Nate Lindsay of the Quips, but Cameron, the sophomore, gets the first down, gain of 6 to the 34.
Yes, and it's one more example of Aliquippa having the ability to blast open holes at the point of attack. Not to discredit the work by Lindsay and the other backs, but Aliquippa's offensive line is just opening the gate, so to speak. Good comes in all the way from the sideline to get this particular play. Now it's the younger Lindsay. That'll be Nate Lindsay at tailback, and he gets it.
Nate Lindsay gets about 3 on first down. Well, actually, Nate is probably the older one. He's a junior, and Cameron's only a sophomore.
Okay, I got it backwards.
I mean, I don't know when their birth dates are. I'm guessing, though, that Nate is older, being that he's in 11th grade.
I think the quarter's done,
and that will do it for 3 periods here on College Hill. After 3, it's Aliquippa 31, Beaver Falls 19, but the Quips are threatening to extend it. When we go to the 4th after this minute timeout on Beaver County Radio, WBVP 99.3 FM, Facebook Live, and by Triblive Sports.
Did you ever think you would see a day when no one showed up for big city holiday parades or pro sporting events? This is Renee from Laughlin Insurance Agency in Rochester. If nothing else, this past year has taught us that things we never considered possible can happen, and that no one can predict the future. At the Laughlin Agency, your Penn National Insurance provider, we give you the ability to protect against loss during unexpected times. Visit LaughlinInsAgency.com or call us at 724-774-1230.
There's something for everybody this semester at CCBC. Whether you're leveling up a career or launching a new life, CCBC has got you covered. In fact, CCBC is straight to you. Your local library is now a CCBC classroom. Build career skills and earn college credit right in your backyard. Check out credit and non-credit classes starting in the near future. Click ccbc.edu/fall for more information. Right place, right time. CCBC is right where you need them this fall.
And we're ready to start the fourth quarter here at Reeves. And Aliquippa with the ball in Beaver Falls territory. And the Quips have a 31-19 lead. By Barrickman, Bruce Fry. Flanked by Curtis Walsh, Gavin Reese, and Rick Plasmeyer, Malik Garrett. From the studio, where he'll join Bruce Fry for the Falcones Moon Township Ford wrap-up show immediately following the announcements of our CCBC players of the game.
Leading up to the 11 o'clock hour when we go back to the studio of Triblive HSSN.
Correct.
And that'll take until 11. However, as the old saying goes, Bob, I was a young man when this game started.
Well, you're implying that it's been a long game. It started at 7:06, so it's coming up on 2.5. Yeah, Bruce, it has been long because we still have another quarter to go here.
Yep, but that's fine. We're enjoying you bringing the action. We're glad you're having us around, no question about it, in this traditional neighborhood rivalry.
Aliquippa will begin the fourth quarter looking at second down at 7 from the Beaver Falls 32. Out of the eye, Quips get it, and they get movement at the 10, the 5, and into the end zone. No, they're saying that he was stopped at the 1, the knee touched at the 1 yard line.
If it's Hayes, if it's 23, that's what it looks like from here. That's what it looks like. It looks Hayes is a 9th grader. If that holds out, these are just really. We apologize. It's just really tough to see these jerseys.
Yeah, in our view, we're up high in the press box, but I
don't know. I don't know. It might have been Floyd Sims also wearing jersey 31. It's just not to apologize. It's hard to see.
Okay, Aliquippa, first down and goal.
No, it's not Sims because Sims is out there now, and I believe Aliquippa wants timeout because they don't like their look that they have in that situation. So Aliquippa takes its first time out of the half here with 11:19 to play in the fourth quarter.
Well, Bruce, your opinion was upheld in the press box. Noah Hiles says it was indeed Tequai Hayes, the 9th grader, getting the big rundown of the 1.
Yeah.
And Aliquippa will have 4 chances to punch it in.
Hayes listed at 5'9", 170. How about that, Bob? A 9th grader. To the best of my knowledge, that was his first carry of the night. I don't remember you calling his name before.
No, not at all. Not unless we misidentified a runner. But Aliquippa now, first down and goal. And a touchdown here. would make it a 3-possession lead for the Quips.
Do we agree that's about the 1/2 yard line? Do we agree it's inside the one? What's your view on that? That's pretty far away from us to say. I'd say it's 2/3 of a yard.
Yeah,
I'd say it's inside the 1.
It's right inside the 1 yard line.
And obviously, with its massive line, Aliquippa has quite a bit of tonnage. One thing we haven't seen is a quarterback keeper in this situation. This is what is called a media timeout also. The game's being televised, and this goes longer than the traditional minute or so we see for a regular timeout.
Now the Quips break the huddle. And they'll try to get on the scoreboard.
Power
once again.
formation.
And the give and the touchdown.
I would say Martinez again.
Martinez?
Yeah, that's my thought.
So Martinez
again,
takes it in from the 1. And it's now 37-19.
Once again, Aliquippa has a man down in the end zone. Although this time they get him back up onto the field. And I would think we're going to see Pele again. I don't know if there'll be an official stoppage of play because that Quip is hopping off of the field. But I would imagine we're just going to get a conventional extra point attempt out of the hold of Joe Krotek.
All right, so they're up by 18.
Bob, I take that all back. I see no evidence of a kick here. Aliquippa's going to go for 2.
And they will go for the deuce. And the give, and they get it easily.
That was the freshman.
That is Hayes again. So Hayes, I guess, earned that 2-pointer. And that makes it a 39-19 lead. We'll take a minute timeout. Got a final score for you. We'll do that after this break. Aliquippa with another touchdown, and they lead the Fighting Tigers 39-19. Now this on Beaver County Radio.
In sports broadcasts, the pregame show will set the stage for the upcoming game coverage. In life, a pre-career start at the Beaver County Career and Technology Center can set your high school student for life. This is Laura Delvecchio, the Assistant Administrative Director at the Beaver County Career and Technology Center, with more great news. There is still availability for this school year in some of our top-earning career training programs like masonry, machine tool technology, collision repair, and greenhouse and landscaping. But you must act now. Have your child or grandchild see their school counselor today. Hurry! Classroom space is limited, and these prime opportunities are on a first-come, first-served basis. Let the Beaver County CTC open doors for you in the game of life. Click bcctc.org.
The number 1, 5-18, 21-16. Rick Plasmeyer getting the scores from outside of the Valley. So just 44 seconds into the fourth quarter, Bruce is going to make his way down to the studio to get things started along with Malik Garrett for the Falcones Moon Township Ford wrap-up show. And Aliquippa with a seemingly comfortable 20-point lead, 39-19. Beaver Falls could score quickly on you, but they'd have to score very quickly here to make you think that they still have a chance. So Aliquippa ready to kick off. And the kick is away, and it's a line drive kick that'll bounce to the 15. And in the clear, Mekhi Clark. Outstanding return. No, that's Quadir Thomas, excuse me, out to the 47-yard line. So Beaver Falls has a good piece of field to work with, trying to come back from 20 down. So the Tigers will start from their own 49. They'll spot it back at the 48. 11:09 to go. Beaver Falls next week will be at Our Lady of the Sacred Heart. Aliquippa at home to Central Valley. We'll give you that final in a moment. This time, big run, yes, and a first down by Ashbacher as he is stopped at the 41 of the Quips, and Ashbacher didn't come down right, and he comes up, well, he's ready to go back to the huddle. Final score, shootout at Sarge Alberts, but Central Valley has won its 14th in a row, defeating Blackhawk 58-35. So the Warriors, who went 12-0 last year, they haven't lost a game since December of 2019 in the state final to Wyoming. In the pistol formation goes Brickner. Brickner looks. Brickner pass. He has a receiver, and that's Thomas. And Thomas is down to the 30. That'll be another Beaver Falls first down. So the Fighting Tigers are getting it done quickly. Donovan Walker, the one that forced them out of bounds. But a gain of 11, and the Tigers are on the move. Still 10-10 to go in regulation. Brickner gets the call in from the sideline. To the right goes Trey Singleton. Thomas to the left. Ashbacher, the running back. And it goes to Ashbacher. Looking for a hole, and he gets a couple, maybe three to the... Oh, he's still on his feet. Drives four. Quips down to the 20, and that gets a round of applause from the Tiger faithful. He gets it down to the 19, and what looked like maybe a gain of 6 becomes a first down, Beaver Falls. That is sheer determination by Isaiah Ashbacher. And if they could get into the end zone quickly, obviously they have a chance. They just have to find a way to stop the Quips. Brickner looks. Brickner fires into the end zone. It's picked off at the 1-yard line. And taking it back to the 35 and to the 40. And finally driven down at the 48-yard line. And Aliquippa will take over after the pickoff. And that might be the final straw for Beaver Falls. They got in position to really get back into the game, but a pickoff at the 1. Zaire Clark with the interception. And that is the third turnover for Beaver Falls. And he takes it back 47 yards to the 48. So Beaver Falls now in a position where they have to play perfect football. And Aliquippa will take a timeout, and so will we. 9:03 to go. Back in a minute. Aliquippa leading 39-19 on Beaver County Radio and Triblive.
There's something for everybody this semester at CCBC. Whether you're leveling up a career or launching a new life, CCBC has got you covered. In fact, CCBC is straight to you. Your local library is now a CCBC classroom. Build career skills and earn college credit right in your backyard. Check out credit and non-credit classes starting in the near future. Click ccbc.edu/fall for more information. Right place, right time. CCBC is right where you need them this fall.
In order to call the right play, you have to be able to communicate. Dental hygiene not only affects appearance and eating habits, it can also have an impact on your ability to speak clearly. Dr. C. Timothy Lip wants you to keep your teeth in the game, and he has a playbook designed for success so that you can call the right play or even call an audible. Get suited up for a win, or at least a winning smile, by joining Dr. C. Timothy Lip's team in Beaver Falls or Robinson Township. Visit lipdentistry.com.
And with the stop for Beaver Falls was Bricks Raw. And it's second down and 12 for Aliquippa at their own 46. Beaver Falls, the defending WPIL champion, on the verge of going 0-2, though the consolation would be that they're losing to two 4A opponents, which means that your conference record stays 0-0. Out of the eye comes Aliquippa. Long count from center. Good. Now the fake. Good. Looking for the home run, and this is going to be, just out of the fingertips of the intended receiver. It'll be third down for Aliquippa, and they need 12. That would have been the backbreaker, but they unable to get it to go. And it's third down and a dozen for Aliquippa with 8:07 on a stop clock. We're going to see a lot of non-conference games, and when you have 6 classifications and a number of conferences with only 6 teams, maybe 7, it's rare if you get 8. You're going to have a lot of non-conference games on your schedule before it really gets into the meat of the grind. Now we got a timeout, Quips. And that should be the last Aliquippa timeout. And we're going to take a 30-second timeout, 8:07 to go. Aliquippa in control, 39-19 over Beaver Falls, here on Facebook Live and Beaver County Radio.
Navigating healthcare should be easy. Heritage Valley Medical Neighborhoods offer the care you need most in one convenient location. Access walk-in clinics, primary care, lab, diagnostic imaging, and other services at one of Heritage Valley's 7 medical neighborhoods. There's no need to travel far for quality health care. Find a medical neighborhood near you at heritagevalley.org. Heritage Valley and you, uniquely connected for life.
Okay, well, we're going to be coming back shortly. Okay. Rochester now leading New Brighton 27-20 in the fourth quarter on WNBA, courtesy of Fry Transportation. Now Aliquippa looking at third down and 12, 8:07 to go at their own 46-yard line. Well, we'll not have quite an hour, maybe 45 minutes perhaps, to talk, so you better get on the phone line. Dial 724-843-1888 or 774-1888. Talk to us about the game you might have visited tonight. We'll talk up to 11. And then we'll get all the scores from the WPIL from Don Rebel and his staff. Looks like we're going to get more finals coming in from Gavin Reese through Malik Garrett. This game still has over 8 minutes to go. 3rd down and 12. Back to throw. And down the field on the fly. And it is bobbled, and Aliquippa's going to have to punt. So Beaver Falls with 8 minutes will have a chance, though they need 3 scores to win their first game of the year. Aliquippa will be at Carl A. Ashman next Friday night on WMBA, 6:30 airtime, as they take on the defending state champions of 3A in Central Valley. Beaver Falls will travel to Our Lady of the Sacred Heart. High snap, but no rush. They're playing for the return. High, short. It's going to bounce at the 33, and it's going to be down at the 35-yard line. So Beaver Falls will take over there. Okay. It's a final at Rochester Stadium. The Rams defeat New Brighton 27-20 on WMBA. So they had a good one tonight on 1460 with Mike and Jason. 7:52 to go here. Beaver Falls football, but they got to be just this side of perfect. They're down by 20. And the give. And nothing there for Ashbacher. And Donovan Walker. It's going to be a tough choice, especially for the Quips, for our Community College of Beaver County Player of the Game. Now on 2nd down and 10. It's Brickner. Brickner, quick drop, pass caught by Singleton, but a short pickup. No, that was Mackay Clark on the reception. Brandon Banks makes the stop for the Quips. Clock moving, 6:46 to go here at Reeves Stadium. Brickner gets the play in from the sideline. His team is down 20. Could be looking at 2-down territory on 3rd and 5, or 4-down territory, I should say. This time, though, it's Brickner with the carry, and he's got the first down at the 46. They'll give him the 47. The clock stopped momentarily with 6:19 to go. We'll get you the scores during our Electric Garage door sales post game. We'll get you a couple sprinkled in between now and then with 6 minutes to go here at Reeves. We'll have Geneva football a week from tomorrow under the lights. Tomorrow, Geneva opens at Worcester, Ohio, 5:30 pregame. Ball caught, and a nice catch by Thomas, and they push him out of bounds about a yard shy of the first down at the 44. And Donovan Walker, again, making the play for Aliquippa. 5:45 remaining. With the expanded media tonight, we've had some media timeouts, longer breaks than usual. Bruce vouched on that from time to time, and that's why this game is probably, in fact, not probably, it will hit the 3-hour mark in total time by the time this one goes in the books. This time, first down, nothing there. No gain. And that was Raw on the carry, and he gets back to the line of scrimmage. 5.5 minutes to go. Beaver Falls has never led. The closest they got was 9-7 at the end of the first quarter. Quips led 24-13 at the half, 31-19 after 3, and Aliquippa has the lone touchdown here in the fourth. Now Brickner behind center. And on the end around, it goes to Thomas, but he runs into his own teammate, and he's going to be hit behind the line of scrimmage, a loss of 1. Ball goes back to the 44 of Aliquippa. And it's going to be second down 11 for Beaver Falls. New Brighton losing to Rochester. And that's the second game in a row that New Brighton has been involved in a 27-20 game. They beat Western Beaver last week by that score in overtime. They lose by that score tonight at Rochester. We'll sprinkle in some more finals for you. Rolling left. Brickner over the middle. It's got a receiver wide open. It's Kane. No, that was Tyler Kane. He gets up a little gippy. He'll come off the field. Solid night, though, for the senior in Tyler Kane, and that's a first down. Beaver Falls to the 28 of Aliquippa. Time becoming a factor inside of 4 minutes. Beaver Falls has all 3 of their timeouts remaining. They're down by 20. And the defending champions of the WPIAL trying to avoid going 0-2. But now the ball skips to Brickner, and he's stopped for no gain. And making the tackle for Aliquippa was Jace Williams. So it's second down now for Beaver Falls, 3:12 to go. Other finals that we have, and I know we have more than this, Our Lady of Sacred Heart in overtime beats Riverside 20-13. Central Valley 58, Blackhawk 35. Of course, Beaver and Hopewell not playing tonight because of COVID situations, and Blackhawk and Central Valley able to work things out, even though they'll play again in a couple of weeks. This time on second down, the pass intended for Kane, and it's incomplete. It'll be third down, clock halted with 2:40 to go. Try to do a quick electric garage door sales post game. Give you some time to talk to Bruce Malik on the Falcones wrap-up. Geneva tomorrow, 5:30 pregame. Tornadoes open the fall, the 29th year for Gino DeMarco. Now Beaver Falls has to call a timeout to beat the play clock, which was down to 1. And we'll be back in 30 seconds. Third down and 10. Beaver Falls, 2:40 to go. Aliquippa 39, Beaver Falls 19 here on Beaver County Radio.
Know if your team won or lost right away with a visit to the webpage scoreboard at beavercountyradio.com. As soon as the games are over, Beaver County Radio will have all the up-to-date high school football scores posted, along with game recap stories and action photos. It's Beaver County's #1 online source for high school football scores and more. The webpage scoreboard is being brought to you by Mr. Trophy, Laughlin Insurance Agency, Friendly Federal Credit Union, Beaver County Auto Group, Dr. C. Timothy Lip, the Beaver Falls Municipal Authority, and Beaver County Radio. Click beavercountyradio.com.
And we're back. I know we've stated before about Aliquippa's numbers. The red on the black. Tom Hayes told us last year that he found out that apparently starting in 2022, you got to make it clear what your numbers are. So we're seeing red on black. We might see white on black in the future. It'll make it easier on announcers also. And we'll see if that comes to fruition. Beaver Falls now on 3rd and 10 from the 28 of Aliquippa. And do we have a marker? And a false start for Beaver Falls, so they'll have to move 15 yards to get to the marker with 2:40 to go. We're at the top of the hour on, just past the top of the hour on 1230 WBVP, Beaver Falls, Aliquippa. The new 99.3 FM presented by St. Barnabas, by Triblive Sports, and you can view it on Facebook Live. 3rd and 15 for Beaver Falls. Brickner looks, Brickner throws, and this pass is going to be just over the helmet of Mekhi Clark. Good coverage by Aliquippa. It's 4th down for Beaver Falls. Could be their last offensive play of the game. Beaver Falls on the road next week at Olsh, which was an overtime winner over Riverside, spoiling the debut of new coach Fran Ramsden with the Panthers. And Aliquippa will host Central Valley, winners of their last 14 games. Beaver Falls needs 15 to keep possession. Brickner looks. Brickner throws down the field, and it is caught! Touchdown, Beaver Falls! Trey Singleton, and checking on the injured Quip, and Singleton hauls it in for the touchdown for the Fighting Tigers to at least give Beaver Falls a pulse. It's 39-25. So that 35-yard reception coming at the 2:31 mark, and surely Beaver Falls will go for the onside kick, and we'll see how they play it on the extra point. And Rick Plasmeyer gives us another final. Union over Elwood City. It's been a tough stretch for the Wolverines. The Scotties win at 39-0. That from the Fry Transportation Update Desk. Beaver Falls will go for 2 to try to make it a 12-point game with 2:31 to go. Snap into the end zone, and it's overthrown. The ball was low on the snap. That didn't give Brickner much time to line up with the receiver. We'll take a 30-second break. 2:31 remaining. It is Aliquippa 39, Beaver Falls 25 here on Beaver County Radio.
You're listening to high school football on Beaver County Radio. This game is being brought to you in part by Dr. C. Timothy Lip, clicklipdentistry.com, the Beaver County Career Technology Center, the Community College of Beaver County, Electric Garage Door Sales, and Falcone's Moon Township Ford, among others. Stay right where you are because the play is coming your way next here on Beaver County Radio.
So Beaver Falls will kick off. They're down 39-25, and Aliquippa, surely Mike Warfield has gotten it into the heads of his players that Beaver Falls will try the onside kick. Ball will be placed at the 40-yard line. And the Quips have 5 players up front. No, they'll kick it rather deep, and the ball's going to skip, and we'll see if it goes in the end zone. No, it will not, and it's going to be picked up at the 2-yard line, and a short return to the 15, and a late marker comes in. And I think maybe there might have been a hand near the face mask. Let's see. Either that or it's going to be a hold on Aliquippa. And let's get the call from the official. Nope, it's going to be a foul on Aliquippa, so that's going to back up the Quips. Beaver Falls could stop it twice. 2:23 to go. And this is going to mark it down. And Rick Plasmeyer working the camera said it was a blindside block. And good call on that, Rick. Bruce Fry has made it down to the studio, and he'll work with Malik Garrett on the Falcones Moon Township wrap-up show. This time Aliquippa on first down, and a nice gain on first down, getting about, maybe 7, maybe 8. Let's call it 8 yards to the 14. And Martinez with the call for Aliquippa. Isaiah Martinez has had a couple 1-yard runs for touchdowns. And a first down here would really make it difficult for Beaver Falls. They keep bouncing back. They have never really seriously been in this game in the second half, but they've done just enough where you have to at least pay attention. Full house backfield for Aliquippa. And the carry, and that looks like they got just enough for the first down. They needed to get to the 16. That's where the side judge has his feet planted. And now we have a Tiger banged up on the field. We've had a lot of stoppages tonight. And this game now has gone over the 3-hour mark. We started at 7:06. It's now 10 after 10. And now apparently we have a timeout, or is an official's time? Hard to say, but Beaver Falls has come sort of close to their sideline. Gavin, any more finals? And what was that score?
It's 6-6.
6-6. They're in overtime at Freedom against Western Beaver.
Newcastle beat Quaker Valley 41-6.
And Newcastle upends Quaker Valley 41-6. We won't spend too much time in the Electric Garage Doors post game with scores, because we'll let Bruce and Malik handle that, this time on the run and almost going the distance. He had one man to beat. Mekai Clark was able to bring the ball carrier down. And 1:19 to go, and I think, no, they stopped the clock to move the chains. Now Nick Nardone has 2 timeouts, but I doubt he'll use them. And with that first down, now, if you don't see anything going on here on first down, you could see Nick Nardone using the timeout. We're inside of a minute. It's been a long one here tonight at Reeves, but the fans have been treated to great weather, big plays, and Aliquippa right now is in victory formation. And taking a knee is Quentin Good. And Nick Nardone does not stop the clock. And it looks like one more snap will put an end to it here. And Aliquippa will win and send Beaver Falls to an 0-2 mark. So the Quips just need to snap the ball to Quentin Good one more time. The sophomore has looked steady tonight leading this offense, and that will do it. The final score, Aliquippa 39, Beaver Falls 25. Our Electric Garage Door Sales postgame show coming up next from College Hill on Beaver County Radio and Triblive Sports. Might be time to repair or replace that old garage door. By Barrickman, here for Electric Garage Door Sales in Monaca. Call on Robin and her team of expert installers. Dial 724-774-3200, and your door will work like a charm. Featuring CHI quality garage doors and LiftMaster garage door openers. With over 50 years of experience, Robin and her team will get it done right. Give them a call, 724-774-3200, or find them online at electricgarageDoorSales.com.
It's the big game of the week, and you've got the best seat in the house. Play-by-play coverage on Beaver County Radio. Today's game is provided in part by Medic Rescue, Keystone Wellness Programs, click KeystoneWellnessPrograms.org, Drug-Free Aliquippa, the law firm of Luxembourg, Garrett, Kelly & George, LGKG, and the Lockwood Insurance Agency, among others, right here on Beaver County Radio.
Know if your team won or lost right away with a visit to the webpage scoreboard at beavercountyradio.com. As soon as the games are over, Beaver County Radio will have all the up-to-date high school football scores posted, along with game recap stories and action photos. It's Beaver County's #1 online source for high school football scores and more. The webpage scoreboard is being brought to you by Mr. Trophy, Lockland Insurance Agency, Friendly Federal Credit Union, Beaver County Auto Group, Dr. C. Timothy Lip, the Beaver Falls Municipal Authority, and Beaver County Radio. Click beavercountyradio.com.
And we return to College Hill, a game that took over 3 hours. But Aliquippa wins it, a game that saw 64 points on the board, but Aliquippa gets 39 of them, and the Quips win their season debut. Beaver Falls drops to 0-2 on the season, and recapping the touchdowns, Aliquippa set the tone early on the second play of the game. A pass got behind the line of scrimmage, was turned into a 41-yard fumble recovery by Dorian Moreland, and the extra point was no good. It was 6-0. And then the guy they call Pele, Emmanuel Mantee, kicks a 30-yarder to make it 9-0. But Beaver Falls, just 12 seconds later, they get a 54-yard catch. Brickner finds Quadir Thomas. The extra point by Tyler Kane made it 9-7. But then Martinez of Aliquippa, that was Isaiah Martinez, scores on a 1-yard run. Big play on that drive, a 48-yard catch by Sayer Clark. And then Tajir Thornton catches a pass in the end zone to make it 17-7. Quips get another touchdown, a 14-yard run by Cameron Lindsay. Near the midway point, the extra point made it 24-7. Beaver Falls gets a 25-yard catch by Mekai Clark with just 8 seconds left in the half. The extra point no good, 24-13. And that was the score at the intermission. But Aliquippa gets a 45-yard reception by Thornton just 4 minutes into the third quarter. The extra point made it 31-13. Ashbacher scores from the 7. Big 45-yard catch by Kane sets up that score. The pass failed for the 2. It was 31-19. And then Martinez with a second 1-yard touchdown run, 11:16 to go. And then Hayes ran it in. He had a big 22-yard gain, the freshman, to set up the touchdown by Martinez. That made it 39-19. Trey Singleton scores on a 35-yard touchdown catch with 2.5 to go. They don't get the 2 on the pass. And the final score, Aliquippa 39, Beaver Falls 25. Now it's time to announce our Community College of Beaver County Players of the Game. And for Beaver Falls, when Bruce left to get back to the studio, he liked the play of Tyler Kane, and nothing happened since he left to make me change his mind or mine. And Tyler Kane will win the award for the Beaver Falls Fighting Tigers for Aliquippa. Boy, you can make a strong argument for a number of players. And by rule, though, we have to give it to one. I like the early running of Cameron Lindsay. He kind of set the tone for the Quips. The young sophomore made some big plays. I mean, I really was impressed by the play of Quentin Good. Of course, that Aliquippa defense is always there. And but we go with Cameron Lindsay of Aliquippa, our CCBC Player of the Game for the Quips. They will be invited to a future Coaches Corner. We do it from the studio on 7th Avenue every Wednesday night at 7. And on that note, that'll do it for us. We want to thank the fine camera work of Gavin Reese, Rick Plasmeyer, and the guy anchoring our coverage here on Facebook Live, Curtis Walsh. Our producer, Malik Garrett. For Bruce Fry, Bob Barrickman. Final score, Aliquippa 39, Beaver Falls 25. That's your Electric Garage Door Sales postgame. And now it's time for the Falcones Moon Township Ford wrap-up show. The Quips win it 39-25. Bruce Fry and Malik Garrett next. You'll have about 40 minutes to talk football till 11 right here on Beaver County Radio, WBVP, and 99.3 FM and Facebook Live, along with Triblive. Good night, everyone.
Know if your team won or lost right away with a visit to the webpage scoreboard at beavercountyradio.com. As soon as the games are over, Beaver County Radio will have all the up-to-date high school football scores posted, along with game recap stories and action photos. It's Beaver County's #1 online source for high school football scores and more. The webpage scoreboard is being brought to you by Mr. Trophy, Laughlin Insurance Agency, Friendly Federal Credit Union, Beaver County Auto Group, Dr. C. Timothy Lip, the Beaver Falls Municipal Authority, and Beaver County Radio. Click beavercountyradio.com.